Protected by the Black Widow. Protected by the Black Widow. I speak loud on the mic, knowledge to the people. I speak loud on the mic, knowledge to the people. Never following youngsters. They pull desert eagles, never say this line again. I'm sipping Heineken. Always on my mind to win. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Black Widow protect me, feds lose again. Them nigga cheat to win. Dope fiend never win. Dope fiend never win. Dope fiend never win. I speak loud on the mic, like knowledge to the people. Promote the youngsters. They pull desert eagles, never say this line again. I'm sipping Heineken. When niggas break wild, no slack. I'm cutting like an axe. Kick door policy, cutting the tracks. Never been in a gang, but stay crewed up. We answer beepers, can't be tracked, computer hack. Protect the weaker. Don't wear tattoos, but if I did, it be the Grim Reaper.
All right. Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing the house. And I come to do what I got to do, and I got to do what I got to do. I'm standing tall. I'm standing strong. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Bobby Banger in this spot. I can't even cuss. I see Doc. Ooh, I see Doc me out right there. I know Miss Tip gonna pop up. I can't even cuss. I don't gotta worry about it. Yeah, I'm saying I'm dropping a link early and often. If you're in the server, you got the link, man. I'm tired of these pseudos playing with me. Yeah, I'm saying whenever them pseudos get to playing too much, man, I gotta call my partner in crime up on this very topic right here, yo. So I got my man Sean P from the Mossy jumping in, and any pseudo killers that want to join. I don't know why they think the information changed or the data changed. Only a pseudo think that. It's these pseudos looking for a win in a position where there is no win. I say this all the time. The worst enemy we got in our community is ignorance. Not the white man, not the Chinese man, but ignorance. Ignorance will put you in situations that you can't even get out of. Ignorance will have you going to your grandmother's house and your auntie house, bringing them a pathogen that you claiming you ain't never had because you asymptomatic, meaning you show no symptoms. Ignorance will have you saying, I ain't never had COVID before. How do you know? You don't know. Ignorance will have you thinking they got some kind of new information about the COVID, and Fauci didn't say nothing. That's ignorance. Ignorance will have you putting me in a YouTube thumbnail thinking you got me on this one. Come on, man. I'm an intellectual gunfighter, man. I speak loud on the mic. Man, big up to all the science advocates, man. Big up to the people that bring us programs specifically. Big up to Dr. Oyama. You know she got that new paper out. And man, my name all in it. While y'all playing around, the sisters doing work. While y'all running scared to death of the COVID virus, you know, my fault. Let me take that back. While you running around scared to death of the daggone vaccine, but not actually scared of the pathogen itself, Dr. Mayat is putting that real live work all day, every day. Conscious ingenuity, man. STEM camps live and in person for African Americans. All day, every day. That's real. And I got something for the pseudos. I ain't even gonna mention their name, but you know what's coming. Let me bring on Sean P. What's up, man? Unmute yourself, man. What's good? What it do? What it do? I see Anusha in there. All day, every day, a pseudo killer for back in the day, Anusha. What's going on with you? Omar Reed is in the building, man. What it do? What it do? What it do? Man, and then I got another special guest, Montoya Smith, Mental Dialogue, about to pop him in here too. See, we stay undefeated with this, yo, because we don't mind being wrong. Sean P, what's good, man? What it do? What it do? What it do, bro?
Yeah, chilling, man. Everybody. It's your boy Sean P. Y'all make sure y'all
Your thing is which one come? Hold on, that might be. All right, say it again, talk again. I'm gonna mute out Montoya. Let me see. Montoya got the ringy. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what's him. It ain't me.
You always tell, boy, he's smart, but don't got that technology.
You already got somebody in the chat card early though. The muffin.
They gonna get beat up. Hey, Montoya, what you on your? I know you ain't on your phone, is you?
Not this time. No, I'm on my regular thing, so I don't know.
All right, let me see. Hold on. Go ahead. Yeah, that's crazy. Hold on.
Me?
No, I'm asking if you get a headset.
You got a headset? Where your headset at?
No, I don't have a headset.
You got something from back. You got some audio coming from.
Audio coming from somewhere. I make sure it ain't me. I'm gonna mute myself. Or both y'all talk. Both y'all talk.
It's not you.
Testing.
It's him.
What y'all hear? I don't hear nothing.
So when I
that was you, Sean, echoing.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear Sean echoing.
Mute your mic.
All right, I'll mute it.
All right, mute out.
All
right.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You ain't.
You hear echo?
No.
All right then.
All right, we're gonna do it like virologists do. We're gonna figure it out. Hold on, all right, go ahead, Montoya. Unmute yourself.
Testing. Can you check it? Mic check.
Shoot, you ain't. I don't hear it. We got some interesting. We just go ahead and play the music game. It's all good, man. Mm-hmm. You know what we're gonna do is in real time. I ain't seen it, Montoya, and you haven't seen it, right? And we're gonna react to this in real time, right? And we're gonna have this healthy discussion. And I'm telling you, I dare you hit the panel. I'm gonna let you say everything you need to say. Everybody, y'all can get it out. Not an issue. That ain't the problem at all. The problem is ignorance. We're gonna see how we're gonna educate ourselves on this. How we're gonna figure out if it makes sense. If it don't make no sense, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. This is not hard. It's right here for us. All the answers to the test is here. All right, I'm gonna let y'all know. So we're gonna react to this video right here. All right. Simple as that. Right here, Vincent Racaniello and Angela. Dr. Angela, they going in. All right, we're waiting for their response. It's really not even that big a deal, for real, because ain't nothing new. Pseudo's running around acting like the data has actually changed. So let me start with you, Sean. Man, what you think about the whole thing before we even react to the video? I ain't seen it. Montoya ain't seen it. We're going to react to what they saying. I think you've seen it. So what you think, bro? First of all, hold on. Before you say something, I'm going to do this for you. Let me put this in. Let me stop this. This one I'm reading. I'll always hit the refresher right here. I'm reading on this right here. What SARS-CoV-2 taught me right here. Of course, I wrote the forward. That's about it. But it's an easy read. It's an easy read to keep you up to speed. Easy read right here, right? And with this, right, I'm saying this for y'all. Easy read. And then when you think you bold, you get the textbooks, virology, right here. This is written by Vincent Racaniello. Book 1 and Book 2, Principles of Virology. All right, that's Pathogenesis and Control. And then volume 2, volume 1, Molecular Biology. All right, great textbooks right here. So if you ain't at least got a virology textbook, you shouldn't even be talking about the subject. Meaning you ain't taking a basic a basic understanding to what you're saying, and you don't really care about us at all. You just saying anything out your mouth. So, Sean, man, what's good, man? What you think about pseudos running rapid on that subject, man? Since my on here, we're not gonna get nobody personal. We're gonna play by his rules. We're gonna play by his rules. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Sean.
So what I think is that because Fauci's testimony, they believe they have a leg to stand on without properly understanding that what he pled the fifth to 100 times. What were the questions asked or posed? Were they answered in the last time he went before the Senate? And then I don't think that they understand the amount of information that we have on SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19, right? So they don't know that there's over hundreds of thousands of scientific articles that have been produced and referenced and cited regarding the pandemic we just went through. So if there was some real smoke, right, you could have uncovered it in the peer review process and the scientific process from all of the work that has been done globally on the subject matter.
That's real. How about you, Mark?
Sean, I understand everything you're saying. I try to, if I can, connect the perspective to just kind of understanding how people think and from a psychological standpoint. So while you're absolutely right about everything you said, I do understand I'm talking about just how people think from this standpoint. From the standpoint of if you believe that this is a worldwide conspiratorial theory that you believe that it is, then while you're absolutely right about the amount of data that's out there that clearly shows how safe it is and all this type of stuff, the reality is if you believe there's a cover-up, then you believe the information that shows that it's not good and that it's okay, you believe all that has been covered up. And so unfortunately, it basically, the situation with Fauci was political theater, and I'm coming from a legal study standpoint just to give some information. It was political theater. It's really basically, this has been done by people when it comes to politics. Kind of somebody wants to attack you politically, they'll kind of put on a show. So they knew exactly what they were doing in a sense by putting on this show, because for whatever reason, Rand, was it not whichever the Paul guy, for whatever reason, I don't know the history for why he has.
He got it out for him.
Yeah, I don't know the exact history on that, so I usually like to get that information, but I don't have that information. But at the end of the day, so what happens is because they were trying to catch him up, catch him up in something, his lawyers properly, just from a legal standpoint, say, hey, you plead the fifth to everything and make them prove their case. And so the public, generally speaking, pleading the fifth is just assumed to be a form of ignorance. I mean, a form of basically saying I'm guilty, so I don't want to incriminate myself. So people just make that broad assumption, not understanding that you can be innocent and still plead the fifth if, just because it's no different than what the example I like to give people is, for example, if I'm charged, if I say I'm a lawyer and Unkh's charged with murder, Ankh can be absolutely
right.
Yeah, but I'm going to give this analogy for people to realize that pleading the fifth.
Don't use me.
Well, okay, I'll be the murderer and you be the lawyer. Either way, right? Okay, cool. That helps. Okay, so if you're my lawyer, generally speaking, you can know that I'm completely innocent. Generally speaking, more times than not, you still, as my lawyer, will typically advise that I not take the stand in my own case, even though I'm innocent, because they know the prosecution is skilled at making me look how they need me to look to probably get a conviction. So you as my lawyer, more times than not, will advise me not to take the stand, even though you have figured out with evidence that I am completely innocent. It is actually a rare chance based on if I can handle the prosecution. If I have the demeanor, is about the only time lawyer says, you know what, it will help if you go, but they also train you like hell because they don't want you to look bad even though you're innocent. So this is kind of how plead the fifth can be used, and people just assume, oh, all of those 100 times saying I plead the fifth proves that they were right all the time. I just get how people put it together. That's all I'm saying. And I'm
No,
not
you
saying they're wrong, but I understand how people do it.
yeah, you're right. I'll meet you out because you think, yeah, you're right. I work at a law firm, and guess what they got in there? A courtroom. Got an actual courtroom in there where you practice. They got the cameras, they got what the judge said, they got what the jury said, and they got the stand, bro. See what I'm saying? That's practice all day, every day. Anonymous Pring, what's good with you, man? What to do? Unmute yourself. So don't kill
Yo, bro, I'm here.
What up with you, man?
No, I just know, man, this thing getting wild. I didn't think it was going to get the light that it did, but of
Mhm.
course,
Of course it was.
like we always say, the pseudos play in a gray area. So
Mhm.
Fauci, like the brother was talking about, Fauci pleading the fifth. It gave the pseudos the gray area that they need. Um, And again, the other thing the pseudos are expert at is ignoring the context. Like they're going to take his testimony on face value without acknowledging the political climate that's going on in this country right now. They're going to ignore that all of the stuff that Fauci was saying, that they're grilling him, that he was saying. He said it while Trump was president the first time. They're
Mhm.
going to ignore Trump's initial reaction to the pandemic. They're
Mhm.
going to ignore what he originally said. But then they also going to ignore the times where he bragged about um, his political maneuverings. He actually bragged about getting the vaccine to the market quicker. So Trump is all over the place. He's a liar. He plays to his audience. And what's wild is you got people in the black conscious community latching onto his words like it's gospel and onto his policy like it's gospel, as if he has the best thing in mind for us, when in reality he hates us and wants to see us. Well, I ain't gonna say he hates us. He's going to appeal to the people that hate us and let them do whatever to us. But yet you got people in the conscious community going to this guy, you know what I mean, parroting the MAGA shit like it's real, like it's not based on lies. And I'm gonna let that just sit there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
brother, let me add a little material fact before we watch this video as well. Just from a little research I got, just some little material fact, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, just from the research I did, and I'm also open to the fact that I didn't research it like I like to deep dive, like I do like to do a lot of stuff. So people may have found more information. But here's the area where that people really feel like there's a got you, if you will, and I want to kind of address that. So people, I saw some guy on one page said to somebody, did you see the because one guy was like defending Fauci or whatever, and some guy asked him, say, well, did you see the diary? Did you see the diary? And I remember, and I responded to him. I says, well, from what's out there right now, it's like 1,000 pages or whatever. So nobody's looked at that or whatever. But the material stuff, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the average person hadn't read all 1,000 pages. That's what I meant to say. But generally speaking, the stuff that was in there that was telling, and this is what people are latching on to, is early on during the pandemic when when they were first trying to figure out what is this, what virus is this, and this type of stuff. They kind of had gotten it identified, and there was basically an inside argument on whether the origins were manufactured, by someone, or whether it was natural origin. And so one of the early public showings by Fauci, he kind of went out and said, "Hey, our just based on the early findings, my colleagues and I, in a sense, are leaning towards it being of natural origin." So the got you moment with the diaries is this: at the time that he had said that publicly, he had written in his diary that out of the 12 people that were on his panel, or whatever you call it, two of them, including himself, thought of it being natural origin, and the other 10 on that panel thought it might be manufactured. So in a sense, the only quote unquote got you moment is that he publicly came out and said it, when at the time his closest colleagues, 10 of them, thought that it might be of manufactured, and he publicly went out and said that he and his colleagues thought it was of natural origin. He was one of the two that has, throughout his diary, he never once himself ever thought that it was of manufactured. Even at that time, he personally thought that it was of natural origin. Here's the thing that I've explained to a few people about this point in the diary. I said at the end of the day, if you, and I learned this from you guys, if you understand, in a sense, how difficult it is to find the actual origin of a virus, even though some viruses have been found, I explained to people, I said, I don't care if that personal panel was 6-6 or 7-5. Right now, to this day, since we don't know the origin, neither side knows if they're right. So I do understand how it ain't the coolest thing when at the time when they're trying to figure it out. 10 of his colleagues are saying, I think it's original. It's manufactured, and he publicly goes out and tell people that. So I get why people say, "Ooh, that's the got you moment," but people won't be scientific and realize we still don't know the origin for one. And the last part, and I'll be quiet, is this is why, like me and you, we never really listened to Fauci. We studied the information ourselves, so we didn't have to wait for what the government was saying. So him being the health czar, sometimes politically, he's going to have to say some things that have political sayings and not simply the scientific thing. So we don't know if at the time him saying, with 2 out of 10 of them saying it was natural origin, we don't know at the time if the government was in a sense wanting him to say that. That's not me defending him, but at the end of the day, the science has not proven it.
It wasn't.
But remember, I'm saying at the time that he went out publicly said that his colleagues, the early research is looking like it is of natural origin. At that time, he wrote in his diary prior to that public statement that only him and one other scientist in the 12 on his panel, only him and one other felt that it was of natural origin. I'm talking about this is early stages of it.
You say only him and another scientist.
Yeah, and the other 10 thought it was actually possibly manufactured.
Let me say this though. You got me out for you because you think, and then I'm gonna let Sean speak. I got you. So first of all, that what they think is that it was a zoonotic transfer, a natural spillover, but they leave the option open for a lab leak because that's how science works. Okay, all the experts I've talked to talked about how it's impossible to engineer that like that. Those little pieces of the virus that you would have to be the smartest biologist known to mankind to be able to do that. Only nature could do something like that for the first time out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So scientists lean towards a zoonotic transfer or a spillover event. Simple as that. They're not leaning towards a lab leak, but you have to leave the option open based off what you said, because at the end of the day, we look at all other pandemics and all that, man, you barely know everything about that anyway. There's not a pandemic that's been in the history of humanity that didn't know exactly where this came from, where they came. They just figured out the syphilis, where that came from. People was thinking that the Europeans brought it to America and all that. No, they know, right, that it was in America. But how long did that take to know? And so it's misinformation, one, that they rarely find the origins of this stuff because it's happening naturally in nature. You feel me? The wild thing is to constantly act like it's a quote unquote lab leak and add the scenario around it and add the belief around it, right? It is subjective to say that. But the data shows that they're leaning towards a spillover. Go ahead, Sean. You want to add something to that?
Yeah. I mean, you really hit it on the head because that's what the scientists are going to always insinuate. But the simple fact that we have technology, right, and we have tools now to help us better disseminate how these viruses look, and we can get at these certain site points of the virus to see if it's ever been manipulated. So therefore, we don't have to naturally take it off the table. When we react to this video, you're going to hear some of these things that were mentioned. Montoya mentioned the diary. We're talking about the cleavage site, which is the point where you could determine if a virus has been manipulated. We're going to even hear about manipulation of previous viruses and who actually did it, right? Coming up. But the the thing is yes, this trial has stirred this conversation back up, and yes, the information is still in favor of science.
Right. I don't know. I mean, good signs. You want to say something, Preem? Before I go ahead and
The brothers kind of really, touched on where I was going to go. Just in general, man, what we witnessing right now is, for lack of a better word, we witnessing the pseudos taking over. And what I mean by that is we have people in authority positions that are not concerned with the truth. They are concerned with their agenda. We got a dope fiend conspiracy theorist in charge of medicine. We got the sister of the WWE in charge of we got the Vince McMahon's sister who runs wrestling, who lies for a living. We got her in charge of education. We got a drunk Fox News host who never got hired in, I think, a corporal or whatever. We got him running the military. We cannot separate what's going on right now as far as the science from the politics. And that's what a lot of people like. As deep as we get in this community and as conspiratorial as we get, I find it ironic that we now fucking pretty much parroting what the Trump administration is saying when they have done nothing but lie to us over 2 administrations.
oh
Oh
man.
man.
Yeah.
And I tell you what's wild for me. All right, hold on. Let me mute everybody out. What's wild for me is that I can understand based off ignorance of the subject matter how people feel that way. I have empathy for you. Okay, no problem with that. And it's a novel virus, meaning for the first time in the history of humanity that particular pathogen has hit the immune system. So it wasn't like we understood how infectious was it, how to do this, how to do that. They was learning on the fly. So if you learn on the fly, you would expect mistakes to be made. One pathogen might require you to stay in the house. The next one might let you out. It's all kind of variables in there that none of y'all conscious community people, that none of y'all African Americans could do at all. Right? See, that's an important. If you can't do better than what the professionals and experts are doing, then shut up. That's what I always say. Because you are potentially dangerous. If you think they don't know, how the hell you know? We wouldn't even have known about the daggone pandemic if not based off of experts. The same thing was going on in the United States with the letters. None of the conscious community guys, none of the conspiracy dudes knew anything about it until the experts said something about that. Y'all not tracking pathogens. So when you go into the Dr. Sebi website and track the pathogens that's occurring around the world, no, it's not true. No, you're taking information that's available to you and you tricking us. Half to death, literally. Okay, so at the end of the day, man, I'm not listening. So let's go ahead and look back at this real quick. Here we go. Vincent Racaniello and Dr. Angela.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Angela Rasmussen, Science Chair for the Save America Movement. I am here with Dr. Vincent Racaniello of Columbia University, my PhD mentor, esteemed colleague, experienced virologist, and expert on this particular topic. Not necessarily Fauci's hearing, but on virology and the type of virology research that Fauci is being accused of doing, which is, by the way, not illegal and really important scientific work. So we just wanted to pop by here with the Save America movement to have a little discussion about what happened earlier today at Fauci's hearing before the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee of the Senate. So to give you a little bit of background, and Vincent and I today are at the American Society for Virology annual meeting. This is the professional society for our entire field. My first ASV meeting was in 2005 when I was a graduate student in Vincent's lab. It was in Wisconsin. This one's in another Midwestern state, very nearby. It's really humid and miserable here, but it's a lot of really good virology. And we thought that it would be a really good chance to catch up because I missed this morning's sessions covering the Fauci hearing. and Vincent was able to attend them. So I'm going to fill him in on the Fauci hearings, and he's going to fill me on what I missed. And we're both going to fill you in on what the context is for these hearings and what's going on with Tony Fauci. So to give you a little bit of background, Tony Fauci was going to go in for a transcribed interview with Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who is the chair of the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee of the Senate. Rand Paul has been after Fauci since 2021, when Fauci told him that he was a liar for misrepresenting the origins of the pandemic and what we know about that. Now, in the intervening year.
All right, so we see what we can see right here where the trouble start. Same thing we do on YouTube. You call me a liar. I'm not a liar. And then everybody sticking their chests out. So we see where this rift started between those two. All right, right there. You got misinformation. A person back then thinking they know where the daggone thing came from. I don't know how the senator actually knew that information. I don't know how he knew that already. All right? I don't know how he knew that. But for some reason, he seemed to have known that. All right? Mr. Paul seemed to know where it came from, and Fauci called him a liar. So that's where this whole thing started from. Okay, so we got a good beat on how they get into the mix. And you know how it is with powerful people, right? If you're calling out a powerful person, he on this get back campaign. Y'all can all see that. That's not hard to see that. All right. So Fauci is the top virologist in the country. He's like one of the most cited, right? When we talk about academics, meaning he's cited, his work is cited. All right. He like 20th in the world. That's the level right there. Okay, but let's keep going. This is a little basic, showing you where it started, how the rift started, and how it's got blown out of proportion. Here we go.
We've learned a lot more about the origins of the pandemic, including through some papers that I have contributed to, and we do not think that it came from a lab. In fact, almost all of the evidence, with the exception of the fact that the pandemic began in Wuhan.
We go back.
And it learned a lot more about the origins of the pandemic, about that. For misrepresenting the origins of the pandemic and what we know about that. Now, in the intervening years, we've learned a lot more about the origins of the pandemic, including through some papers that I have contributed to, and we do not think that it came from a lab. In fact, almost all of the evidence, with the exception of the fact that the pandemic began in Wuhan, suggests the pandemic emerged from the live animal trade at the Huanan seafood market. And we can certainly talk about that, but that wasn't really the point of the hearing. The point of the hearing was for Rand Paul to go ahead and continue the fiction that it was in fact a lab leak, and that Tony Fauci funded the lab in China that made this through a sub-award on an R01 NIH grant.
All right, there you go. So, okay, so don't talk to me about what the hearing was about. And we know what it was about now. Okay? So y'all threw the lab leak in there. It's wild. Misinformation, bad information. All right. The lady is explaining this exactly what it is. Let me go back again so y'all can kind of get it.
That wasn't really the point of the hearing. Suggests the pandemic emerged from the live animal trade at the Huanan seafood market. And we can certainly talk about that, but that wasn't really the point of the hearing. The point of the hearing was for Rand Paul to go ahead and continue the fiction that it was in fact a lab leak, and that Tony Fauci funded the lab in China that made this through a sub-award on an R01 NIH grant, which is a type of grant that NIH issues to people in the US and in foreign countries, or at least used to. They don't anymore to the foreign countries. And not very many in the US either these days. But in any case, Fauci was the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease at NIH. And these sub-awards have been issued, and it was for bat coronavirus research. And Rand Paul is incorrectly claiming that Fauci knew that this work would lead to the pandemic, which it is, as Fauci put it, molecularly impossible to do, which it claiming that Fauci knew that this work would lead to the pandemic, which it is, as Fauci put it, molecularly impossible to do.
Man, let's talk about that. That's an important part to stop right there. Molecularly impossible to do. So I don't know how y'all pseudos then cooked it up to do. All right, Sean, you want to add something to that?
I mean, you heard what they said in the earlier onset. I told you get real spicy in the first 3 minutes of the video. Methodology, the importance of how to approach science, the delivery of research, and how evidence is compiled to be able to answer some of these things, and why we know what we know now. Remember, we are 6 years removed from our earliest onset of information. Really a little bit above 6 years, but we know more now because of technology and our ability to be able to communicate. So they can get to what they need to get to really quickly. The United States of America, I repeat, the United States of America is the only place on this planet that is having this discussion.
Because it got Rand Paul. Go ahead, Preem.
Man, that last line Brother Sean said is real. The United States is the only place having this debate. Now, what I want to add on is why. Why is the entire civilized world in unison, but we somehow different? Ask yourself that. It's not because we sharper than everybody else. It's because our scientific community has been hijacked by politicians. One of the first things that Donald Trump did when he got in office was defund research and fire scientists. To the point where the scientists don't want to even stay in the United States no more because they are scared of the climate and what's going to happen to them just for telling the truth about their work. We are losing our best and brightest to other countries right now as we speak. The United States is at the dawn of a dark age, and we don't even realize it because we are getting rid of intelligent people that know what they're doing, and we're letting people like RFK take over.
Okay, politically motivated. This was a political maneuver. All right, and that's wild. Scientists are actually leaving the United States. Why? Because they don't want to be persecuted. I told you it was a novel. It's called the novel. It's the reason for that. SARS-CoV-2. And I explained what novel meant. It meant that for the first time in the history of humanity, that pathogen has came in contact with our immune system. So that means they don't know how it's going to react. All viruses aren't created equal. Saved you for last, Montoya, because you like to go. So I saved you last. Go ahead. You want to add something to that? Because that was some pertinent information in that.
Nah, y'all cooking, man. Go ahead. Y'all cooking for real.
All right. So go ahead, make your little videos about me. I'm going to beat you half to death on the subject, as usual. Ain't nothing changed. Right? You're hearing things. Let's continue with the virologists. You got two virologists right here. We don't got the herb naturopathic. We don't got that. We got two experts. Now, if you can't get past the color of their skin, then you capping because you got white bus drivers to drive the subways. Everybody not black driving you to work, driving your kids. None of that. Your brakes ain't made by black people. Ford ain't never been black. The Food and Drug Administration to make sure your food is safe, right? You let your babies go in the refrigerator. You let your babies go in the refrigerator when your newborn baby is born, and you take them home. You take them home in that car seat. Yeah, you do all that. But let's continue. Let's keep going.
That was in his hearing in 2021 because Fauci did not say anything today. In fact, Fauci pled the fifth. He cited his Fifth Amendment constitutional rights against self-incrimination, even though he was preemptively pardoned by President Joe Biden for fear of something like this happening. And to be clear, what this hearing was today was a show trial in which Fauci pled the fifth, and every single Senate Republican who is on that committee said lie after lie about the origins of the pandemic. We had lab leak stuff. We had insertion of fear and cleavage sites, which we'll get into. We had anti-vax stuff. We had Fauci as a malignant narcissist. We had all kinds of accusations, none of which actually suggest any kind of criminal activity. So I just wanted to fill Vincent here in on what happened and also make everybody else aware of what this was about. Because Tony Fauci is a 40-year career public servant who is now basically being prosecuted, or at least they're trying to, for being a 40-year career public servant and doing incredible research, funding research all over the world that has saved millions of lives.
Probably worth pointing out that there are 1,600 people at this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask them, probably all of them would agree that this pandemic originated in nature.
Yes.
Ah, man. How many people at the meeting?
Glad you stopped there. Glad
Yeah.
you stopped there. Go ahead, bro.
I'm gonna run it back real quick. Okay, he want to add it. Virologist, professional expert, right here. Vincent Racaniello. He done shouted us out before. Yeah, ain't that right, Sean? We have him on that. I big up to the pseudo kids. Yeah. Early in the pandemic, y'all tripping. Here you go. Let's hear it again. Watch this. This is important right here. Your believing brain is lying to you. Here you go.
Funding research all over the world that has saved millions of lives.
Probably worth pointing out that there are 1,600 people at this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask them, probably all of them would agree that this pandemic originated in nature.
Yes.
So it's not just us that's saying this.
No. And this is really a good point because, Vincent also has a podcast. He does a lot of media work and he talks to a lot of other people all about virology. And he talks to a lot of virologists, probably even more virologists than I talk to on a regular basis, even though we're both professional virologists. I would have to say that I've met very few people who disagree, at least who don't feel, they may not be certain, but they don't feel that the lab is very plausible in most cases.
Yeah, certainty is hard in science, right? All you can do is say all the data we have, all the evidence points to this. You can never say yes or no for sure. And a lot of people don't like that, right?
Yeah. No.
Man, let's talk about that. And this is where your science literacy comes in. And this is why I advocate for science literacy. This is why Dr. Oyamayak got her programs. This is why we got the pseudo killers. This is why we got what we got. This is why we got mental dialogue to help break down these ideas. Okay? This is why we got Sean, Science with Sean. Right? It's a hard process to get scientifically literate. To have good discourse is hard because your believing brain is in a daggone way all the time. Your biases, we are attacked by our biases. If not for those instruments, our biases would do us in. We say it all the time. The five senses are bad for doing science. It's the tools. All right. And so this man just transmitted an idea that the pseudos refuse to accept. Go ahead, Sean. Add to that right there, because that's a serious point right there, man, about science.
Yeah. So it goes back to that process, but it also comes from a person that has always told us, even at the beginning of the book, in every lecture that he has performed, to trust the science, not the scientists. Because the correction and the evidence will always mount against a person. So to trust that process, and this is exactly how you followed it. And I knew, like I said early on, you're gonna get some jewels up out of this early on to let you know that you're on par with the science and the scientific community based on everything that they've been saying and displaying.
Yeah, and as soon as I get through the video, I'm definitely going to drop that.
Can I add a little something?
Nope, you go last. You go last because you're going to go long. Go ahead, Preem.
I'm not going to go long, but go ahead. No problem.
Go ahead, Preem. I don't believe you. Go ahead, Preem.
Yo, FYI Montoya, bro, you getting that feedback because you don't have headphones on. You getting your mic and you listening through the same source you speaking on, and that's causing a feedback loop. That's what's causing all of the issues. Now, as far as what my man's saying, bro, Ankh, these last few months, man, we have been stressing the scientific method.
Mm-hmm.
We have been stressing critical thinking. We've been stressing logical fallacies because we realize that is the foundation of understanding this stuff. Now, when you start talking about emotions, feelings, and all of that none of that has a place in science.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about celebrity worshiping the individual, having a cult leader, no place in none of this. What we talking about is the science and the work. And the issue in our community is we have low levels of regular literacy and we have even lower levels of scientific literacy. And that leads to us being gullible and being able to be easily led in the wrong direction. But when we present it with the correct evidence, we want to shoot it down because of the face presenting it. And at a certain time, we got to realize that, we got to recognize what we don't know. We got to recognize who knows. And quite honestly, we got to let our ego go and humble ourselves and learn.
That's real.
And not enough of us want to do that.
No. Before I let you go, Montoya, Titan Debate Lead, I'm going to drop the link for you. I see you got my name in one of your videos. You're just going to get beat up. It's just going to happen that way. And so your statement is, it's irresponsible to assume that you're anti-vax. It says, I support vaccines, but all vaccines are not created equal. That statement right there kind of undermines your position. So I'm not going to say you're anti-vax. I'm going to say you're ignorant on vaccines because they all go through the same standard. mRNA vaccines are the gold standard, the third generation. All they got in them is sugar, salt, and water, and a protein. All right. They don't even got the pathogen in that. So they're the safest one. And they go directly to the cells. The mRNA technology goes right to the cells, right? Transported by the lipid. Inside that lipid, that oil, it is the protein that goes directly to the cells and the ribosomes, and the cells read it. So it's not going, the old vaccines, you shoot it in your body, go all over the place. Now it go right to the cells. All right, and triggers immune response, and I think me and Prem talked about it earlier, and it dissipates. The material is out of your body in 2 and 3 days. They ain't giving you nothing. That's another mistake. So you're right. All vaccines aren't created equal. We're on the third generation now.
Yep. It
No
triggers an
allergens,
immune
no
response.
That's
It
it.
doesn't infect you. They
Nope.
figured out how to trigger an immune response without using live pathogens. So all of the stuff that y'all was complaining about the mRNA vaccine was invalid, but you didn't know it because
Yeah.
you ignorant and you refuse to get educated. And that's the problem. We cool with our illiteracy.
Yeah, we
That's
shouldn't
the
be.
problem right now.
We shouldn't be. Montoya?
Yeah, man. Just wanted to say, I always explain it the way you explained it to me years ago. That science in itself is counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means for somebody listening, or just to make it clear, it's the reason why you think earlier people actually thought that the sun circled the earth because your common sense would look like the sun is circling you. That type of stuff. It's the reason why you look out on the horizon and people thought the earth was flat. We still got people still pushing that dumb shit. But I'm just saying, like, your common sense is not the best way to understand science, and that's why the literacy is so hard to gain the literacy. And so people who are pushing misinformation, they lean and count on people's common sense and lean into that because people rely on their common sense, not understanding that science is, the methodology is specific to the point to basically science, as you always say, it sets out to disprove itself. And so if you once you understand that, that's how with the virologists are saying, hey, most of the evidence points this way, but we won't say something is that. We'll say most of the evidence points this way because scientific methodology tries to rule out what you would never consider ruling out with your common sense.
Yeah, he can't. We can't change the way science works. We can't make science work the way y'all want. Y'all want science to work like religion, because religion works in absolutes. Like Montoya say, man, as soon as I start saying absolute, I'm absolutely wrong. He don't speak in absolutes. You have a fit, somebody. That's how science don't work. You listen, y'all. I'm trying to convey the idea that we can't as African Americans, right? We can't make science as human beings. We can't make science our own thing the way we want it to work. That's not how it works. It's not. It's not how it works. What? You say this wasn't a normal vaccine. Stop comparing it to polo meat. Yeah, you go ahead to hit that link. You go ahead to hit that link, man.
Yeah, here's the worst thing about what he's saying. And you've already said it. You kind of alluded to it, but I want to give some clarity. The worst thing about him saying is not the average vaccine or I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You already said it already. You said this is third generation. Third generation, the example I saw you give years ago, which was a beautiful one. Third generation is like the Wright brothers learning to fly in their little propeller plane, and now we have jets. So the guy is right. It's not all vaccines are not equal. We're on the best version of a vaccine that's ever been created, and not just because we're saying it. The data shows how safe it is, considering that we put it in so many people because of, to your point, it was a novel virus. So it was the first time anybody in the world was getting it, and I think we're almost at 80% of the world actually getting at least one shot, if you will. And so we have even more evidence of data on this particular virus, this particular vaccine, than any other, and it's proven to be the safest against past vaccines because it's the newer one. So the guy's right; he's just on the wrong end of it.
Yeah, you know what? You know what his comment shows?
Well, what?
The conscious community is in love with old stuff.
Yeah.
We always think the old stuff is better than the innovation.
Yeah.
Why? Like things don't, like, we want old scholar. We want to stick with the old scholarship. We want to stick with the old science. We want to stick with the old religion. It's like we don't understand as a community that things and knowledge move forward. These people don't like, as much for all of the criticism they get, people don't realize how much of a scientific innovation these mRNA vaccines actually are. They're no longer using live cultures of a disease to trigger an immune response. They're not doing that no more. They're not mixing in crazy chemicals to try to offset the effects of introducing a mild pathogen to your system might have. They not doing
to say they skip steps before it ever reached it. It's not like this vaccine or that vaccine. That's incorrect. Technology allows us to advance everything. Are you still using a firewood pot or whatever, a cast iron pot outside of your home to cook with? You're not. You have every new utensil and up-to-date mechanism for you to cook right in your own kitchen, literally. Right? So the way that we do certain things, you're not listening to a radio no more. You actually have TVs in all of your rooms. You're streaming. You don't even have a cable box no more. You got a little device in the back of a TV. Everything's gone through the maturation process to be able to advance things. So they use technology to a benefit, and it worked.
And the other thing that people forget, they forget about SARS, which happened a decade before Corona. And SARS was also a coronavirus. So they were working on a virus over 10 years before the pandemic, but they stopped it because the SARS, if people remember, go look at SARS, that disease was kind of like, it never spread. It kind of got locked in the Middle East for whatever reason. I forget exactly what happened because it kind of died out before let me
tell you what happened, because I love
they fixed the vaccine. Okay, go ahead, bro. I'll let you take it. Go ahead.
No, good. Yeah. So what happened was, because to y'all point, the mRNA has been studied since the 60s, but to just go ahead and get to the point you're talking about, what happened was they were able to get it contained. And so what happened was, because they were able to contain it and it wasn't creating more deaths, they didn't have to go to the trial series of doing a vaccine in trials, because they got it contained prior to that.
What you're talking about?
Had SARS not
SARS. We're talking about SARS in the Middle East.
Not gotten contained, we would have seen the mRNA vaccine at that point. It was because
right.
it got
Yep.
contained, they got it to contain to where it wasn't causing deaths, so they didn't have to go forward
Yep.
with it's still transmitting.
Yep.
So
Why
now we need
waste
a vaccine.
resources?
So
Yep.
so what happened to your point when this one got sequenced and what happened was as soon as they realized that it had this particular coronavirus, once they found out that it had the 2-week undetectable, I'm probably saying it wrong, but that 2-week period of not being able to no symptoms
Be detected and it's spreadable.
it wasn't symptomatic. That's what it was. When
Right.
they had that 2-week non-symptomatic period, where they were with the SARS, had the SARS went forward, we would have got it at that time. But
and that was my overall point, was they had already laid the foundation of the research. So all of the people claiming, well, this happened so fast, they happened so fast. What you actually witnessed was they were prepared for it because of the SARS the research into the SARS vaccine. And you'll witness the advancement in the mRNA technology to whereas they can create the vaccine a lot quicker than they had in previous generations. It's really as simple as that. We were watching science at work in real time, and the ignorant among us was fucking thinking that the science was causing more deaths than the goddamn than the virus.
The vaccines
And that's wild. That
So-
was wild to me.
So I want to clear up some of my language because pseudos will misrepresent what you're saying. So I don't actually think that all vaccines are created equal. I was saying they go through the same rigorous testing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So like all licensed vaccines, they're actually held to a rigorous standard of safety
Absolutely.
and equality and effectiveness, right? But of course they're not all the same. I want to get technical, right? And so no, they're not all created equal. They're created for different things and different pathogens and work in different ways, right? They use different technologies. They provide different levels and duration of protection. You know what I'm saying? They have different safety profiles, right? But they're all approved vaccines, man. It must meet the gold standard of testing. I want to say that because
let me go even be clearer, because I was going to say this anyway.
Okay.
To be even clearer,
One of y'all got to mute out. It's an echo. I ain't mean to cut y'all off, but y'all got to echo. Y'all got to speak one at a time.
All right, go ahead.
So one even more clarity, because like you say, we want to be accurate on here. So as much as even it sounds like we're highlighting the advancement of mRNA, and we are, the reality is, to Unkh's point, it doesn't mean that every virus that comes thereafter can even take advantage of mRNA. Or whatever. They will use it where they can. There's also the potential, they've figured this out because of the advancement of mRNA. They actually think they're going to have a shot at curing AIDS because of the type of virus AIDS is. They think this technology may be, they're working on it. It could be the future of actually becoming a vaccine for AIDS. But there may be other viruses that come along that will still have to revert back to second generation. Typically, we don't see much right now having to use first generation viruses. But just to be clear out here, we're not even saying that this is how all vaccines, to Monk's point, will be created in the future, because every virus won't be able to be attacked the same way. The coronavirus is particular to where all they needed to do is attach the protein and be able to effectively stop it. There may be viruses that come in the future where we still may have to go to second generation.
You might have to go back to the old school. But I tell you what's interesting though.
RNA. Remember how scientists were studying DNA and RNA, right? And trying to see how we come to be and things of that nature. Well, it's the same thing with viruses and virus origins, to your point, Montoya. So what they're looking at, as you said, it's going to be different technologies for different type of viruses. That's because we have to understand what type of virus it is. Is it an RNA virus, or is it a different type of virus from RNA that provides that technology to answer that question? So once we understand that, then we know how to proceed forward with if this technology will work or not. You know what I'm saying? That's why the cancer research is so important in mRNA vaccines right now, because they're trying to deal with these RNA viruses.
All right, let me finish the video. Interesting. Yeah, my man said 14,000 people died from the vaccine, but they keep it hidden. Well, then how the hell you know? If they hid it from the public, how you find out? And how come you ain't getting paid off that? If you can find out and don't nobody else know, boy, I tell you, man, pseudo always dies at its source, boy. All right, here we go. Let's finish. We listening to Angela, Dr. Angela. She's a virologist, and one of my favorite virologists, Vincent Racaniello.
People, uncertainty came up at the hearing quite a lot. They're really doing a lot of work to litigate emails and things that Fauci sent very early on. And I think this is something that's really important to mention about the hearing too. A lot of the so-called evidence against Fauci and against some of our other colleagues and friends is really just people talking to each other over email and trying to grapple with that uncertainty. I know you, Vincent, because you trained me. One of the first things I learned from you was that, when I'm dealing with a scientific problem, I shouldn't decide the hypothesis before I've tested it. I shouldn't declare that something is true if I don't know that it's true and I don't have evidence to demonstrate that it's true.
So a great example is RFK Jr. saying, I'm going to look for evidence that vaccines cause problems. That's not how science works.
No.
What you say is, let's look at the record of vaccines and see what we find.
Exactly. So that
he killed them with that one. Oh, and I want to address the 14,000, bro. And this is what I'm talking about. We ignore context in this community too much. All right, I'm not even going to fact check his 14,000. I'm going to give it to him. All right, say 14,000 people were killed by the vaccine. Okay. Over 7 million people globally died from the actual virus. So when you compare 7 million to 14,000, even if it's true, which I doubt, but even if that's true, the numbers, come on, man. That we talking about a 50 to 100 times difference in the numbers. Compare 14,000 to 7 million. That's the other thing. We don't understand basic math, like basic statistics. We think in the context of 7 million, that 14,000 is statistically significant.
So even if you use the VAERS adverse event reporting system, anybody can call in. Pseudos can call in. Doctors can call in.
Yep.
Wild coons from the moon that came to Earth too soon can call in. It just collect the data and they looking for irregularities in the daggone data, man. It's not a factual thing at all. Anyway,
they admitted on the SARS site. They tell you.
Let me explain that a little further.
They tell you on the site. That's what's hard, but they don't even read it. Go ahead.
Yeah, they tell you on the SARS site.
Well, so the VAERS obviously is something that everybody knows. VAERS. Yeah, I might have said it wrong too. So either way, but I'm just saying the VAERS report. The only reason we even care or know about it is because of the point of a novel virus, of something that we hadn't had something like this in at least 100 years since the Spanish virus, right? And so it's the only reason we even know it. What most people don't understand is this is done for every medicine that's put out there. This is the protocol for all medicines. And so what happens is and the only reason I know this is because I had a friend in the pharmaceutical industry that did sales. And so he broke this down. He says, for every medicine that's out there, the process is to report everything that happens after somebody has the medicine, to your point, Ankh, to basically look for irregularities up against the testing prior. You see what I'm saying? So it's to compare it to see if there is a difference in what they found in the trial stage. They want to see if there's a irregularity against what they found in the trial stage. And so what happened was, people don't even realize this. The very people they say they don't trust, the reason we know about myocarditis is because the VAERS report showed some irregularities, and they actually did something about it, which was
they changed it.
Yeah, they said what they did was, this one, let's give this one for this age group, because the irregularity was showing up for young people. So they I forget which one, but they was like, give the Pfizer one over the whichever, you know what I'm saying, the other company.
Yep, they switched it and they lowered the dosage too.
Right.
They lowered the recommended dosage to offset.
Thing was, here it is.
Yep.
They said, give this one instead. But before you give no shot, give this one because the risk of no shot is still higher than
Yep.
giving this one. And that was just based on
Exactly.
supply. But that literally came
Exactly.
from the VAERS report. So the people that use the VAERS report in a pseudo way or use it to say, look at these numbers, don't realize that's the very report for why they even know myocarditis was an issue.
It's crazy. So here
And
you
the
go.
other thing, and
Hold
hold on,
on.
let me get one more thing in, and the other thing about the VAERS report is that, like y'all was saying, it takes every single report, anecdotal or not. But see, what people don't realize is there is a certain percentage of every outcome that's naturally occurring. So say I'm just going to throw numbers out here, just random numbers. Say 5% of people over the age of 55 have a heart condition. Like we'll say myocarditis because that was one of them. So now we are looking for an increase in that 5% among vaccine users. You have to have a significant increase over the naturally occurring percentage before they will even investigate to see if that's a causal factor. So that's the reason what the VAERS is for. Just because people are saying that I'm getting this reaction after I took this doesn't matter. Is it coincidental? Did you already have an underlying condition that would give you that reaction anyway? So these are the things that the scientists are looking at, and it's not just a raw report. Again, in the science, in the conscious community, we hate context, but in science, everything is about the context. You can't just pick a random fact out of the middle of the
Like the
middle of
Bible.
the concept and
They
then
do it
say
like,
that's the thing. You
yeah, they
always
do it
got to
like the
have the
Bible.
context.
They do it like the Bible. So let's come to some experts. We're going to use Nebraska medicine, right? This is going to be better than all y'all. It's going to be better than Dr. Sabi. It's going to be better than you guessing. It's going to be better than you going down to your local bookstore and getting some herbs and spices. It's just going to be better, right? And so we had the question, right? The question, is it true that VAERS says 14,000 people have died from the COVID-19 vaccine? So we have it on deck. Let me just move down here. Let me tell you what VAERS is. VAERS is set up to capture potential adverse events caused by vaccines. It is the best tool we have to define what may be previously unrecognized and extraordinarily rare adverse events that may eventually be linked. And just like Montoya said, they the people you don't trust, so why you trust them? Let me finish.
And let me do this real quick. Just one little piece of context. The other context is the reason that this is the check against the scientists themselves, meaning you have a trial. Trial is medicine being given out under perfect conditions. Your VAERS report is people getting to report everything that they see, and they're able to check it out once the virus is out in real time. Real time meaning somebody may not have gotten their booster on time, or they may only got 1 shot versus 3 shots. So they're trying to see, do we see an anomaly based on the real time report versus how things look perfectly. So I just want people to hear that full context, that the VAERS report is the check on the scientists. That's how they're able to say,
hold
oh
on,
shit,
hold. When
something's
you
happening
interrupt
that
me,
we
you
didn't
gotta go
realize.
short. Hold on, when you interrupt me, you gotta go short.
Okay, my bad.
When you catch me in the middle of
My
reading,
bad.
I'm gonna lose my daggone mind.
Yeah, my bad.
All right. I don't mind, but you gotta go short. They say it is the best tool we have. Well, maybe we should use the Dr. Sabi hotline. Well, how about the Black African Power, the Black Power system? When you call them in, they're gonna let you know. If you ever get sick, you can call the Black Power Ambulance Company. They're gonna come and help you out. The Dr. Sabi Hospital. Yeah, call them and see what you get. So VAERS cannot and does not determine whether a vaccine caused something. The CDC states this clearly in their disclaimer, which no pseudo refuse to read because they can't read. It said a report of VAERS does not mean that the vaccine caused an adverse event, only that the adverse event occurred sometime after vaccinations. The disclaimer continues, the report may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, and coincidental, and unverifiable. There we have it. Simple as that. Not sitting here arguing with y'all because y'all refuse to read and understand context. Let us keep moving.
That came up a lot too today, vaccine safety. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who is a big time anti-vaccine activist, said about what he called the experimental gene therapy shots, that there are all these vaccine safety signals in a database called VAERS that is operated by the CDC, which, by the way, Tony Fauci was not part of the CDC. But he claims that Tony Fauci ignored a lot of safety signals about the mRNA vaccines that had been submitted to VAERS. Now, VAERS is a self-reported database. It's not verifiable. And I think a lot of this is that people don't really understand that scientists, as you said, will look at the entire body of evidence before deciding something. So if you do get a signal in VAERS, and I know about this because I'm also the co-editor-in-chief of the journal Vaccine, you get a safety signal in VAERS, the CDC and their experts and experts on the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices will do a deep dive to see if there's anything to that. And they will do that by, as you said, looking at the data in an objective and unbiased way to see if the numbers actually add up to what people are seeing.
And of course, there have been signals in VAERS. So the rotavirus vaccine many years ago generated a signal which led to it being removed.
That's right.
And fixed. But there are a lot of things there that just don't mean anything. So you could get a COVID vaccine and a month later die. It doesn't mean they're connected.
Correct.
But if there are enough of those, you investigate them. And in fact, the CDC does that. And then they don't come up with anything.
Right.
So people are misled about the VAERS database and its usefulness. It just tells you maybe there's something and we need to investigate it. But on its own, it's not meaningful.
It's not meaningful. And it also has nothing to do with the origins of the pandemic, and neither do the vaccines. This is another thing that just really drives me crazy. The big accusation scientifically against Fauci and the WIV, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, is that they were doing what is called gain of function research, or in other words, juicing up viruses so that they're more transmissible or pathogenic in people. And the standard at the time was that it has to be in people. You know, anything can be a gain of function if it gains function. You can put green fluorescent protein into a bacteria and it turns green, and now that's a gain of function. But the gain of function research that they're talking about here is so-called dangerous gain of function research, which is virology research that changes things. So they said that they took a bat coronavirus, stuck in a spike from another bat coronavirus. The backbone was, Rand Paul said it was SARS. It was a SARS-like coronavirus. They actually had two, called WIV1 and SHC014, that they used for cloning viruses. And one reason I was really excited to talk to Vincent about this, of course, is that Vincent is very famous for cloning viruses and was, in fact, the first person to develop an infectious clone of a virus in 1981. So when people say that, oh, we can't have these secrets of these viruses and these chimeric viruses, they're so bad getting out. This is work that's actually been going on for almost 50 years that you pioneered.
It's been going on forever. Nobody paid any attention to it until the pandemic came along. And then suddenly politicians who really don't know anything about science started to comment on it. This idea that the virus was made somewhere is just crazy absurd. It doesn't make any sense, because if you were going to make SARS-CoV-2, you'd have to have something really close to it to start with. And as far as we know, nobody had anything close to it. So everything about engineering falls apart right away.
It sure does. Same thing with serial passage. So the other theory that Rand Paul talked about today is that it was, and they're never really clear about everything that's going on. They're never clear if it was cloned or engineered or serially passaged. They talk about them like they're all the same thing. Serial passage is when you take advantage of the fact that the enzymes that replicate the virus genomes are mistake prone. And so they put in a lot of mutations. So if you add selection pressures to make a virus do something that you want it to do, like say grow in a mouse, you serially passage it through the mouse and eventually it will grow in mice better. That was my PhD project, by the way. I was only somewhat successful. However, often when you serially passage it, then you might clone it. You might make chimeric viruses, as they were discussing. There's all kinds of things that you can do. But what I wanted to talk to you about, Vincent, too, was this is something I think about all the time.
All right, let me hold on. Sean, you want to add something to that? Because that was powerful right there, Sean.
No, I knew it was going to come to that. So I want to hear what y'all had to say.
Nah, I got it. Like this man right here, Vincent Racaniello, he did the first successful clone of any daggone
That's
virus.
what I'm trying to tell you. He knows.
Yeah, he the man. Go
He
ahead,
knows
Sean.
where you can manipulate the virus at what site and what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because the relativity, the fact that they I'm going back to it, sequenced it initially is the proof positive that you can see if it's manipulative or if it and manufactured, for those out there that don't know, if it was manufactured or if it's by nature. And this is why he hasn't moved from nature, and other virologists have not moved from nature, because they understand viruses better than they did even when he did it in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't like reading ridiculous comments because it's for free. So this is gonna be the last ridiculous comment I'm gonna read for free. You gotta at least pay $2. I am not gonna just let you spam the chat with ridiculous nonsense. I'm gonna read this, right, to show you the ignorance that permeates in our community. It say, why are we listening? Hold on, let me put it up there. It says, why are we listening to the slave masters who want us extinct and who create a virus to sell the solution? What? Yeah.
Can I have this one?
Yes, you can.
It's simple. That thinking is what had us dying at the highest rate of everybody else except for the Indians on the reservation.
And Mexican population.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. In the United States, black people died at the highest rate from the coronavirus out of everyone except for the Indians on the reservation that didn't have access to health care.
Yeah, we had the
Because of that attitude right there. Because we so emotional and we can't critically think our way through a crisis. So we died more. We paid for that. So while you claiming they're telling us the stuff that's going to kill us, your logic, whoever you was, your logic killed us more, bro. And it's really simple as that. It's nothing else to say. Your way of thinking had us dying at a higher rate than everyone else except for the Indians on the reservation.
yeah, Native Americans had the biggest drop in life expectancies. African Americans were the next most. He is absolutely right about
Like
that.
we have the data. It ain't like at the beginning of the pandemic when we didn't have the data. We have the data. We got the data on the death rates. We got the data on the causes. We got the data on the vaccines that said those who were vaccinated died at lower rates. We even got the data on long COVID and the long-term effects of the people who got it and then kept it. They still going through health problems because of the COVID virus not the vaccine, the virus.
Like Preem, I always tell people, specifically in that first year, we lost 60,000 African Americans in the U.S. And one thing that people love to talk about outside of science is how bad black on black crime is. During the pandemic, it went up again, it's back down again. But even the black murders at its height would be 15,000. And we think that's one of the biggest problems in the world, but people had no problem with losing 60,000 black people specifically to the virus in the first year.
And it could have been avoided.
It couldn't have been because we didn't have a
vaccine.
the
first year, you're right. But I'm talking about like at once our death rates continued to be high, even after the vaccine was created, because we were skeptical in getting it. Like, and I know that, and I hate giving out anecdotal evidence. The next block over, bro, I personally know 3 people that died from COVID and 1 person that was hospitalized for 4 months, and that's just on one city block, one square city block. I knew 4 people that was in crazily impacted by it. 3 died and 1 was in the hospital for months. I don't know nobody. I don't know not one person that got sick from the vaccine.
Not one.
Not one. And I ain't even talking about the people I know outside of that. I'm talking about one block over.
Yeah, let me give you some context that ain't even anecdotal. So just based on, I hope I can remember the exact numbers, but based on the
You cut
numbers of,
Sean. You ain't let Sean get in. You let
oh,
Sean.
oh my bad, the number of people that died, all Americans, based on the stats. I'm talking about understanding how statistical data works. All Americans know at least one person that died from COVID. And so people to put that in perspective, this was in a sense a 2-year period. To put this perspective, you don't have other forms of death within a 2-year period where everybody has experienced or know somebody who died. Like that's how many people we lost in those 2 years.
Hey, look. So okay, here it go right here. You got groups related to COVID death burden. You got American Indian, Alaska Native, highest rate overall. Next is African Americans, about 1.5 right times or 2 times higher than white Americans in much of the pandemic. What? Think about that. 2
I
times
didn't know
higher,
it was
yo.
that bad. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it
Think
was
about
that
that.
bad.
Think about that. So y'all, so you probably should have listened to white people.
Exactly. They was living.
Ah,
Like, what are we doing? Like, what
ah.
are we doing, yo? What are we doing?
Uh-huh. And then you got Hispanic Americans, also higher than white Americans, especially early in the pandemic. It say white Americans lower than black Americans early, but later waves change pattern. They start with they bull stuff. Then Asian Americans generally lower overall rates. Yeah, because they stuck together and they understood. Listen, the Asian Americans understood that coming from their country, right? That's a regular.
Asians wear masks
Yeah, they wear
normally.
masks anyway, because
You
that's
ain't got to tell an Asian to wear a mask. They
yeah.
do it anyway.
We thought it was
Because
weird. We
because
thought
it's
it
their culture. If I got a
was
cold, I'm gonna wear a mask because I'm not gonna
yeah,
I'm not gonna spread it on the subway. That's their culture.
yeah, and like they got high levels of pollution in China, and so they wear masks and all that stuff. Remember how we used to look at Asia? That's weird. It ain't weird no more.
And
See
like
what I'm saying?
speaking of
Sean,
the
we had
culture,
Sean. We hold on. We had Sean. I got this Sean get in.
okay,
You go
cool.
daggone book. We had Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah. To just give
Oh, I can't hear you. Went out. You must have went to another system. You went.
context, you had over
Start over. Start over again. Your phone went out.
300,000 people die from COVID.
Mm.
Am
Can
I
you-
am
Hey
I
Sean.
breaking up?
Yeah, you breaking up. You didn't switch systems. You went to the Gullah phone.
Updating. Can you hear me clear?
I can hear you, but it's like your system a little weak. I can hear you clear, but you're going in and out. You need to get near the thing. Put your head right near the outlet where the internet is. I ain't gonna come back in. Go ahead, Montour. You was about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna I kind of forgot my thought, but I was going to add something to the. Oh yeah, we're talking about the cultures. Preem is absolutely right about the Japanese, the Asian culture. Like the Japanese, they were one of the best at it to deal with the pandemic since it was so close. Obviously, being China, whatever. So obviously they were alarmed, and so one thing they did was got ahead of things. So they were, they were big on the K9 mask, and they were the ones that developed the daggum testing at the gas pump. So you
Oh
literally in Japan, you could actually go test at the gas pump.
yeah.
And so what they would do is they would just do strategic lockdowns because they could identify where the virus was, and so they would only lock down a town versus having to lock down a whole
Yeah,
county.
they
They was on it. They wasn't playing.
yeah,
But
they
they wear
want
the
they
mask.
locking you up.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
locked
They, and they
you
yeah.
up.
If you left the house, they would actually If
Yeah,
you
he was
if you was
tripping.
in lockdown, you left the house, they would arrest you.
Yeah, that's what they
Taiwan too. Taiwan, where the semiconductors come from, they had like the lowest rate in the world because of culturally and the measures that they implemented. As soon as they found out the pandemic was coming, they changed their whole thing in the way they did it, and they was pretty much the model for the world.
It was. Go ahead, Sean. Unmute yourself. Go ahead. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Sean. Can't hear you. Testing. Go ahead. Nope.
It still sound. No, what I was saying was there's.
Yeah, you ain't talking, yo. You on the island,
He
buddy?
in and out. He in and out.
In and out.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. Let me.
Yeah, am I still getting that feedback? I tried to change a little something. I'm just curious.
No, I don't hear it now.
Okay, I figured it out. Okay, thank y'all.
Hear a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's finish.
There's this assumption that because you're doing these things with viruses, that your motivations are inherently bad or malicious, that you are doing this recklessly at the very least, or that this is something that we're just kind of doing for kicks. Like, oh, you made a bad virus, I'm going to make one that's worse. You know, and that's absolutely not what any of this work has historically ever been for. The purpose of all of this work has been to develop new vaccines, to develop new antiviral drugs, to figure out how vaccines work. I mean, I don't recall you ever once in all of my cloning conversations with you being like, you know what would be cool is if we made a rhinovirus that was like bird flu. Not that I think you could actually even do that.
No, you
but...
probably couldn't. But we don't do that. Virologists and scientists in general don't do that. We are driven by curiosity to solve problems, and in doing so, maybe we help human health, right? We don't want to impair human health. That's absurd. And for anyone to accuse a scientist of doing that just doesn't know how science works. I've never met anyone in my years, been in virology 45 years, I never met anyone who wanted to do an experiment for nefarious purposes.
No.
And so these politicians would like you to think that that's what we do all the time, but it's not true.
It's never true. And, you know, one thing training people in the containment lab that I work in, when Vincent trained me to do experimental virology, safety is the top priority. We're not planning, first of all, pointless experiments, but second of all, if you're a virologist and you're doing something with a dangerous virus, who do you think is going to be the first person to get infected if you screw that up?
You.
Probably you.
Yep. It's called spitting into the wind, right?
Yeah. None of us wanted to do that, you know, so we take various precautions. Like in Vincent's lab at the time, you could still work with polio virus at BSL-2. All of us have been vaccinated against polio virus. So there was no danger of us getting polio virus, so you could use it in those lower containment conditions. Now polio requires higher containment conditions and can only be used in specialized places because of the efforts to eradicate polio, which I fully support. And in fact, that was why I worked on rhinovirus in graduate school.
Man, that lady say, man, look, y'all tripping. The first person gonna get is the person experimenting with it. Right. See, scientists are at a different level, right? Their whole career is based off of getting the information right. Your whole career, you're discredited as a scientist. You do the wild stuff that y'all do on YouTube and the fake Dr. Sabies and
Can't
all
live.
selling all that. Y'all have been out.
Yeah.
But them wild, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that with the CMAR, that's gonna cure it. What's the guy, Yaki? What's the name's Juju? Yaki? Yeah, he's a nut. All of them crazy. Talking about the magnets, take this out your splint, like just craziness. Yeah. So scientists ain't even operating like that. Like they said, the first person gonna get it is you. So they vaccinate against that. You want to say something on tour? You didn't mute out because you got wow.
Yeah, just real quick. The best example of that is the scientists that figured out everything with the radioactive stuff. You know, how they end up dying young because all
the
their
Curies,
in the science lab. You know, at the time not understanding how radioactivity worked, they end up dying of that. They spit, you know, they found all the science for us to do all the testing of, you know, how old stuff is and all that kind of stuff. They died from it because they were working around it every day.
And what they are talking about, it kind of touches on, you know, the pseudo logic. You know, they always talk about like getting vaccines patented. They got the patent. Why they patented and all of that stuff. Like they attach something nefarious to it. But they don't realize that they patent that stuff to actually have the license to make it, remake it, study it, etc., etc., etc. It's not the patented so they could spread it and give it to people. Like what's the point of that? That serves no purpose. They patented to try to figure out how to cure that stuff.
And then how you going to contain it, though? We just want to attack the black people. You can't. Because all Homo sapiens are 99.99% can't design a vaccine specific to kill black people. Or it's just wild,
And
man.
then here's
But
another
when you're
thing.
scientifically illiterate, you think there is a biological basis for race.
And the
So
other thing,
that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
yep. And the other thing is, people are so unaware of how little money the pharmaceutical companies make on vaccines. They don't.
Yeah, it ain't on hot rock.
It is not the money maker of the average drugs, and
No.
it's literally the reason they even had to put in the vaccine courts is
Yeah.
because the lawsuits. The companies like, why we gonna keep taking these
Yeah, we
lawsuits?
don't gotta do it.
And we don't even make no money on these things.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they do it is because the government literally pays them to do it.
No, yeah,
That's
definitely,
why.
definitely,
You know what I mean? The government, has to subsidize to get vaccines created. Because the drug companies have the drugs company have the expertise, but they don't have the financial incentive to actually do it.
Yeah. Hey, Montoya, I moved you up because y'all thing was echoing.
They had to put in the vaccine court to where they couldn't get sued in order for them to continue making it. But
They want the money in it.
the companies just said, we ain't finna make this if we're gonna lose money just because people sue us frivolously for no reason. It doesn't. They don't make us enough money.
For no reason.
Don't make us enough money.
Yeah, for no reason they do it. They be having no reason. No reason. All right, let's continue, man. Y'all listen to the community skeptics. Let me meet you out, Montoya. Y'all listen to the community skeptics, man. We on this right here. We dealing with a look back. All right. We dealing with Fauci Fiasco with Dr. Vincent Racaniello and Angelia. All right, here we go.
Cool. Right. Because we thought we were going to have to destroy all of those old polio stocks. I love polio. It's a beautiful virus to work with. I bet Vincent loves it even more.
I do. It's on my phone.
But it's on his phone. He's going to get a tattoo of it.
But we made a transgenic mouse that could be infected with polio. That's a gain of function for the mouse way back in the 90s.
Transgenic mice came up too today. They were humanized mice, as they like to call them.
Well, they're not really humanized because they just have one gene.
Expressing the receptor is not
humanized,
making a mouse a human.
But when we did it, the university said we should contain these mice because maybe they'll get out and be a new place for polio to grow in. And so people were thinking about this. And so we bred and kept these mice in containers where they couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So we don't just do things willy-nilly.
And in fact, you'll be happy to know that your graduate student who trained me to work with the PVR transgenic mice, the first thing he told me was, we cannot let these mice get out because they could create a reservoir for polio in the natural world. We've always done everything, I think, responsibly. Most scientists are not trying to waste time and resources doing pointless experiments to begin with, but we're also not trying to do unethical or dangerous experiments. We're not trying to put ourselves in danger. We're not trying to put our communities in danger. As you said, We're curious. We're trying to find out truths about the natural world. We're trying to find out things that will help humanity, that will help our world be a better place. And essentially what the Republicans and Rand Paul said today was that that's not what any of us are doing. We're all out to, I don't know, damage people, to do research that's going to hurt people. They're never actually quite clear on what our motivations are. I mean, today they did go off on how Fauci has gotten a lot of cash awards and how he had people at NIH, quote, soliciting those awards, although people at very high levels like Tony Fauci will get these awards, and there's a huge process to get it. And, if it comes with a $900,000 prize, I've never gotten an award like that, by the way. I would imagine that you would need staff working on it. And to make Tony Fauci sound as though he's been a profiteer for his entire career is also just a complete travesty, because Tony Fauci has literally spent trillions of dollars in US taxpayer dollars funding research that has brought us to the point where we've cured so many diseases, we've developed so many vaccines, we've done all of this incredible work for 50 years and coming to this conference, you know, even hearing from Vincent about the talks that I missed and the good science, the amazing science that I missed in this climate is really what we should be talking about, not all this made up stuff.
I don't think any Republican.
Made up stuff. Who leads the way? Donald Trump. I'm going to say this again. Donald Trump. I'm saying that if you looking at Fauci or Fauci and you saying that man did this, that man did that, have you forgotten who he worked for? He worked with the guy, right, that named the operation dealing with vaccines, Operation Warp Speed, which already put you in a mindset that it was made too fast. That's him doing that. All of a sudden now, he throw Fauci out there. It's crazy. Trump is a wild guy. Look at all the dangerous things that this man said out of his mouth on TV and the press conference. The disinfected that you can put in with a needle, stuff that would kill you. Why ain't y'all talk about that? Huh. Yeah. Very
Horse
interesting.
tranquilizers.
Horse tranquilizers. Yeah. Just
Ivermectin, yeah.
Yeah, right.
He had people buying that stuff, man. People was actually buying horse tranquilizer for COVID.
Oh, man. It's going to be over with in a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be over with real fast. All that man, but ain't nobody talking to him. They scared to death of him because he know. Let's keep going. Then I got somebody to join the panel just now.
Talk about profiteering. Because they're profiteering from the government right now.
Oh, I mean, Ron Johnson was talking about how, so there were so many complaints brought up by the Republicans. And I do want to give a shout out to the Democrats, though, because every single Democrat who was at that hearing, and they all showed up, came back at the Republicans with the questions that they had for Fauci. None of them were really questions. They were more speeches. But they called it out for what it was, effectively a show trial and an attempt to convince Americans that science is bad and that many of the things that have made Americans' lives markedly better are bad and we shouldn't fund them anymore. And in fact, we should criminally prosecute them if they are going to be politically opposed to the current administration, which is entirely different from any climate, I think, that we've ever been in the U.S.
I'm sure they presented the data for these assertions, right?
Yeah, so Ron Johnson did bring up some VAERS data, a chart that I found the numbers on it. I would want to check them, that's for sure. It wasn't very well cited about how he did that analysis. He did not provide anything to support his claims that Fauci helped cover up hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, which are, according to him.
So this man is sitting here using VAERS data, wow, making up numbers, yo, and ain't nobody saying nothing about nothing, man. I wish y'all would make a video about me. I'm going to bless you for a whole month straight on being crazy. Alex P. Keaton, what's good, man? What it do? Serial Killer Army, man. What's up with you?
Yeah, nothing much. It's interesting that the hounds are out. The anti-vax. I call them the anti-vax morons. You know, and it's unfortunate because they can't see the hypocrisy of, you know, sort of going out to Fauci, who clearly has done a great amount of work in sort of advancing science and making sure that humans live not just here in the United States but across the world. And it's the dumbest amongst us that are making these claims. These are the people who still believe in a fairy god that comes down that gave the Jews land in the Middle East but didn't give them oil. So it clearly is a problem. But I think it's even worse when you're an African American who then shows up in chats and is complaining about Whitey. Yet is siding with a racist regime that currently is doing harm to African Americans all over the United States and brown people all over the world. There is no greater coon than to sit back and root for a man and his party who means nothing but harm to African Americans. And so in your desire for your blackology and to wrap yourself in your blackness and to pretend as if you care about the Africans who were brought over in ships, what you should be caring about is the fact that the sort of the modern racist who are touting the racist nonsense of their forefathers who brought African Americans to this continent are still alive. And these people are the ones who are ginning up this kind of sycophantic nonsense that is causing the United States to no longer be the leaders around the world in virology. And something we should really be concerned about, because while the rest of the world is moving forward with science, we are hurling back into the dark ages of stupidity. And I think it should take all of us to fight back against the ignorance that seems to be floating around in our community. And I hope that the people who are listening and who are following the pseudo killers understand exactly what we're trying to do is really push forward the idea that being scientifically literate is as important as anything if you believe in the future of African Americans on this continent.
All right. Okay, let's finish the thing. Here we go. Man, I dropped the link for any chatties in the patty. At this point, once I drop the link, if you keep talking reckless in there without hitting that panel, then I got to block you up out of here for a minute. You die in this episode because you too tough with the karate fingers. You too tough. Too many comments. No explanations. Flying off at the mouth. Right? Not trying to learn nothing. You should have your pen and pad here and understand why. Why those hearings went on. What happened? What was it? Any new information. You should be learning so you can take it back to your family, your community. Yeah, I'm going to get you up out of here. Here we go.
Him, very, very effective, much more so than vaccines for treating COVID. And millions of people died, except more than 1 million people did die from COVID. But in addition to that, I guess Ron Johnson is claiming that more millions died because they didn't get ivermectin or something. And that's somehow Fauci's fault.
Well,
and ivermectin, by the way, doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And also,
neither does hydroxychloroquine work.
Ron Johnson is part of a larger group of anti-vaxxers led by Peter McCullough, who sells telemedicine services that will prescribe you ivermectin for $600, which is a considerable markup considering ivermectin is a generic drug. So you want to talk about profiteering. I mean, you don't have to go very far in terms of degrees of separation to connect Ron Johnson and probably Rand Paul too.
Oh, man. I dare you say something. I dare y'all. So they the ones making the money off the fake drugs? Is this the game we playing? Is this what's going down? Man, really? Ha ha. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sean, you been listening? You want to add something? You on mute. All right, let me continue. Ha! Profiteers.
To some of these anti-vax organizations.
The big problem is that because these are senators making these statements, many Americans believe what they're saying.
Yeah, man. See, that's why Trump and them is irresponsible. That's why you can't have a president like that, man. He got people storming the Capitol just based off his words. He got the fake news thing going. He got the whole wild thing going on, and it's feeding into y'all believing brain. African Americans are marginalized. They're marginalized communities, right? Can't handle chump. You was going to say something, Montoya.
I was just going to say the office that now would handle a pandemic, they've reduced it down to one person.
Yep. Getting rid of the scientists. And to the crowd, to the anti-vax crowd or whatever, I want to say this. Y'all ever notice how the far right Klan members agree with y'all on a lot of stuff? They anti-vax too. A lot of them is flat earthers. A lot of them believe the same things you do. Ask yourself why.
Because you're dumb.
Anti-scientific. All right, here we go.
Is correct, right?
That's absolutely right. And, you know, the Senate and Congress these days have become a forum in many ways for really just promoting some of these crazier conspiracy theories. The MK Ultra hearing that I watched a couple weeks ago about CIA mind control was completely unhinged. And I just could not believe that this was a discussion that was happening in Congress. Saying
the pseudos have taken over. The pseudos have taken over. How can you not see this? How can y'all not see this?
Let me go
For
back.
what it is.
Hold on. You rewind this.
Yeah, rewind at the MK Ultra. They ain't lying. And for the conspiracy-minded folks, that's the people that said the CIA had a secret weapon that they could send out vibrations and control people's minds. That's what the MK Ultra. They had a legitimate congressional hearing about that nonsense, and that's what she talking about.
They was like snatching some people up with the LSD. Hold on.
No, they talking about no. That ain't the LSD. The MK Ultra is something different, bro. They had a machine to send out waves.
Oh,
that's the conspiracy theory. The
So
CIA got a transmitter to send out waves, and it's mind control.
Supreme is actually makes it worse is that the MK Ultra is the LSD, but in essence, the people whose brains are addled with stupidity ultimately are taking a truth and then they're wrapping a lie into it. So they're taking the conspiracies and they're taking a truth and they're sort of wrapping it,
mixing it up. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the CDC regulations have been let down, right? They've taken away.
We do need to be a little
we got
clearer
the wild. Hold on, let me just say this.
Okay.
Meanwhile, lettuce is having you diarrheaed up based off of regulations being changed.
Yep. Oh, and then you ain't peeped that the main company that they was getting ready to target, went to go make a big donation to Trump, and they said, "Oh no, that was a hoax. It wasn't real." So pretty much they was about to get investigated, and they just paid Trump, and it went away.
Oh man,
and people still shitting.
So hold on, we do need to be accurate. Can y'all hear me?
You can hear. I'm just still laughing. The lady say, "Go ahead."
No, the MK Ultra is an actual factual government program, and
of course, it was the LSD.
No, it was the LSD, barbiturates. It's all of it together. So make sure. So what my guess is when she says it's unhinged, my guess is that the things that were being presented were probably unscientific. But the MK Ultra is a very real thing where they were doing experiments with LSD, barbiturates, a lot of stuff.
Charles
Manson. Some people non-consenting as well.
Charles
the MK Ultra thing was so bad is where some of the additional consent stuff came from because it was done so bad. So let's not mix that up. That was a real thing.
No, I got you. It was funny.
No, I was just saying somebody was saying it was the transmitter.
No. Oh no, I knew it was a real thing, but I was speaking more of what the conspiracy theorists had to say about it. Like they convolute like I was saying, the truth and the falsehood strangely mixed. They take the real MK Ultra and then they put their own twist on it.
All right,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, they do. Like the alien thing.
The Senate and Congress these days have become a forum in many ways for really just promoting some of these crazier conspiracy theories. The MK Ultra hearing that I watched a couple weeks ago about CIA mind control was completely unhinged. And I just could not believe that this was a discussion that was happening in Congress. Saying stuff like the CIA had MK Ultra, Charlie Kirk shooter, and all of this stuff. It's just deep state nonsense. But the purpose is beyond silliness. The purpose is really to degrade our democratic institutions and to create precedents for much worse things, I think. And in Fauci's case, I'm just very, very worried that he will set a precedent that will allow them to go after whatever political dissidents they don't like, including many, many of our colleagues.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to be very careful about these scientific inquisitions, essentially, where there's nothing behind them except accusations. And as you said before, they're not even sure if it's passage or engineering or whatever, because they don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't even bother to read the literature, which would say otherwise. So I don't think politicians asking about science is real. Don't think to read or whatever. And as you said before, they're not even sure if it's passage. Careful about these
colleagues.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to be very careful about these scientific inquisitions.
Scientific inquisitions, like a witch hunt. Wow, we seeing it right in front of our face. This is, and you know what? Shit rolled downhill. Foolery rolled downhill. Nonsense rolled downhill. If you got a wild coach, then your team gonna become wild. If you got a wild president and putting in wild measures, if you got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., head of the health in United States, you in trouble. You already lost. Right? I already knew it. Once that happened, right? Like ain't nowhere in the world that man, he can't even talk. Ain't nowhere in the world that man, he got the largest anti-vax thing in the world. And then he get all mumble jumbled up with the whole measles thing. Man, you know the measles is wild. You know, there's secondary types infections that happen based off of your child catching measles. So when your kid mess around and just die, blame them. Yeah, it's the wildest thing ever. We being attacked based off of our ignorance in the daggone government. Like, this is real. Like it's the most egregious thing in the history of America that's going on right now, man. And we still got 2 more years of this. And I know you do a lot of, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the Community Skeptics, man, and the Pseudo Killers, man, and Sarnetta Studios. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. I don't got that crown here today. I wanted to talk to the presumably scientifically literate class. And also, Montoya, he does shows on politics. That's what he do. All right. Preem and them like to talk politics. That's what he do. Right? Make sure y'all join our Discord. All right. We in there talking science and having fun. But now we focus on this field. This is crazy. Anybody want to add something to that? Because that's incredibly wild to me.
Yeah, it's the boiling of the frogs. Like, we don't know that we're being boiled slowly. And I think the sad part about it is, they can. I know there's a lot of skepticism. I think African Americans should come to the table with a significant amount of skepticism of the U.S. government. However, it becomes a Trojan horse when it used in a way that has you back a group of people who want to do you harm, and it's causing other sort of what you said, sort of downstream effects. So the more anti-scientific we become, it's easy for people to come along and make us feel as if us being against what are just baseline understandings of science. We're just sort of dismissing these things out of hand, and often using the sort of linguistics of sort of civil rights of like, well, they tried to kill us, they harmed us during the Tuskegee experiment. Often these people don't even understand what the Tuskegee experiment was. It wasn't the fact that they were given syphilis. It was the fact that they did not receive the treatment. In essence, the lesson should have been learned that keeping the vaccine from us was a problem, not that we were experimented on. And there's a whole host of other things that are happening. And a bit, again, not understanding how these things work have led many of us to conspiracies in ways that are far more harmful to us than they are helpful to us. Mm-hmm. And I think we really need to push back on our willingness to really just sort of pass over these. And I know we want to be sensitive to, I think, the history of African Americans in the United States and the history of subjugation of the United States. But we also have to live in a modern world, correct, where we have to think about why we're doing the things that we do. They need to make sense on the surface, regardless of of historical things that may have happened to us. And so making sure we're able to isolate these things in a healthy way without missing the things that have happened to us while we've been in this country.
Speaking of the Tuskegee, something that people, little known fact, a lot of people don't know, is the actual medical consent form that we now sign anytime we go to the doctor is due to what the whistleblowing on the Tuskegee experiment in the 70s. That's why it exists for all Americans.
Crazy. Go ahead, Aboriginal Killer. You got on mute. I guess you can't unmute. Interesting.
I can unmute. I just didn't want to. I was just letting y'all go ahead, man. I'm listening.
All right. We never got your point you was making. You probably forgot it.
No. My point was about the estimated deaths the earlier on before the vaccine even took off. So basically, all I was saying was, if you look at the the pre-pandemic activity as it pertains to deaths, right? You get to over 300,000 deaths before we ever vaccinate the first person.
Mm, mm,
Once we were able to roll out the first wave of vaccinations, we couldn't see or measure the efficacy of the vaccine in its initial onset because the virus had already ran rampant. So by the time we lose 60 or 70,000 more people, we then start seeing it teeter and kind of taper off, even though it still will climb in some instances due to ignorance. But then we got to see a viable working vaccine. And what people don't understand is the vaccine's job was never to, and you probably heard it 1,000 times, but it never was to prevent you from being infected. Viruses mutate and adapt to
mhm.
their environments, and they're constantly reproducing themselves. There was an argument about if is a virus alive or is it dead? Well, if something is dead, how can it mutate and adapt and continue to do whatever it's doing? But that's another conversation. But my point is saying all of that is that we knew that the virus was working once we began to slow the number of deaths down. Yes, we reached 1.4 million, and I said this on the show I did earlier. But 1.4 million deaths in the United States, that's the most in any country on the planet.
Mm, mm. Man, so we had more people died, and we supposed to be the most scientifically
Yes.
and hard head. It's the American way. Just do you have freedom of choice. Kill you every time.
You know what we got to remember,
What we got to remember?
that when the virus first hit, Trump denied it.
We did.
He denied it was real.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
Not only
Chinese
did he
virus.
deny it was real, but you remember in the conscious community and in the black community in general, because they said only like it was only a couple it was only a couple incidents in Africa. So originally it was thought that black people couldn't get it. Remember?
That
Remember
was
that?
not in the
So
community right
so
there. Remember
so
that?
you got Trump saying it's fake. You got black people spreading the word that black people can't get it. And
Mm-hmm.
then we skeptical about the vaccine once it's available.
Oh man,
That's a perfect storm for our death.
Yeah, that's a
And
perfect.
that's what happened.
Ignorance. We fighting against ignorance. You're not fighting against white people. You're fighting against ignorance, y'all.
Yep.
You
Yep.
don't
We
know.
could have avoided it.
Yeah, we could have sped it up because we lost 3 months, and what it took, and this is when it became unavoidable. As soon as they the NBA said, well, let's look into this thing, and as soon as those owners saw the science, they shut down the NBA, and then that's when we paid attention.
Yeah, when they stop.
The
Yep,
owners
they
like,
went
we
into
gonna
that
lose this
bubble.
much.
Yep,
How
they
much
went
money we
into
gonna
that bubble.
lose
Yep.
to this virus? Oh, let's shut the NBA down. And that's what made our government react, because the NBA owners got shown the science.
Hey, somebody, yeah, you playing, man. The mystical people that didn't catch the virus. Let me keep going.
Essentially, where there's nothing behind them except accusations. And as you said before, they're not even sure if it's passage or engineering or whatever, because they don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't even bother to read the literature, which would say otherwise. So I don't think politicians asking about science is really a reliable forum to get the truth out.
No, and it shouldn't be. And in the past, I mean, and maybe Vincent, I don't know how much experience you've had with, like committees at NIH or like policy stuff in the past. I don't know that we've actually talked about that very much. I know that you know Tony Fauci and are very familiar with NIH and all that. But, I just think a lot about how many of these mechanisms that they're going at are really obscure. Most of the public isn't paying attention to NIH subawards and subaward rules, and they certainly aren't paying attention to the latest in bat coronavirology. And so when you get all this stuff that comes up in a Senate hearing like this by somebody like Rand Paul, who is a doctor, he's made up his own board to certify himself, but he is technically a board certified ophthalmologist. saying things.
What? He made up a board to certify so.
Who that sound like? Who that sound
It's the
like?
MAGA way.
Oh
That's
man.
how they do stuff, man.
That's how that adds to the fact of why he took offense to Fauci clowning him when Fauci clowned him. Fauci was in his own right aware of Rand Paul's situation, and that is why he clowned him. And then now we have this war between Fauci and Rand Paul, and that just adds more context to the argument.
I know goodness well that man ain't make no book.
And Ankh, you know what else this shows?
Well, yo.
This why you don't go to politicians for medical advice.
Of course not.
If somebody work for the government, you don't base your health on what they say. Go
Right.
to your own personal physician and get the knowledge.
Right. Yeah, oh my God. Right. Politicians, not good for science. Donald Trump, not good for science. Conscious community, horrible for science and viruses. Dr. Sabi, man, stop it. All the pseudos, man, knock it off. Yashi Awakening, knock it off. Don't go to them, y'all. If you sitting here and you're on YouTube, you're looking at your pseudo channels, and y'all going to them for medical advice, y'all going for herbs and spices,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Don't do it. We
Don't,
dying because of it.
yeah, don't do it.
We dying. We literally dying because of it. And I get the skepticism. I
Yeah.
get Black Americans and our history with
skepticism. I forget what it's called. It ain't the skepticism. It's wild. It's pseudo skepticism.
yeah, exactly. And I get it because of our history. But we got to be able to critically think our way through this stuff, man.
Yeah, you can't be like a hero on an island.
Yeah.
Still fighting against the Japanese. I mean, still fighting against America for 20 years. Yo, it's over with.
Yeah.
Yo.
You can't be in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, I ain't gonna let the white man fool me. And we dying. And you taking COVID home to your grandmother.
And kill her.
No, but what's even worse is that they're taking Invectorman, which was told to them by a white man. What makes them dumber than dumb is that they are claiming the white men are giving it to them, and yet they're listening to a white man give them the worst advice ever, and they can't see the irony in it. And that the part is the frustrating part. It is that it's so stupefyingly ignorant that we are sitting here trying to convince people who are claiming that white people are giving them bad information while they're taking advice from a white person. Like,
hey,
their brains aren't working. And there's a couple in the chat that are chatting away whose brains are clearly leaking out while they're trying to type on a computer.
And you know what else? All right, all these people, they was talking about the vaccine was killing us. The vaccine was killing us. You know why we really died? It's because we disproportionately suffer from the pre-existing conditions that when you have them, they cause death when you get COVID, like asthma, like high blood pressure. You know what I mean? Like other lung diseases and stuff like that. So it was our health and our health status that also contributed to us dying more, not only our mentality. And where does our health status come from? Y'all scared of the goddamn virus, but you eat Doritos and processed meat and all these chemicals every goddamn day, but you scared of the goddamn vaccine.
I don't understand that. That the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Here we go. Sean, you want to add something or you listening?
Now listen.
All right, here we go.
As a physician, coming at this with the authority of a physician and a senator, saying, we know that it was a lab leak. We know that there were these chimeric viruses being made. We know there was this fear and cleavage site. We know that there was serial passage and there was all this stuff. And the average person who has never heard of what a fear and cleavage site is, who is not getting people on Twitter tweeting the sequence of the fear and cleavage site at them, which is something that's happened to me now twice. Most people don't think about that kind of stuff. And so they don't know what to think. And so what they hear is, this sounds sciencey. Right. It sounds like a lab leak. And you know what? He's an elected senator. They're saying this in the Senate. Tony Fauci's under oath. He took the fifth. That suggests that he's guilty. And they certainly like to talk about that too. They made a big deal. Rand Paul loved to talk about how he brought half a dozen lawyers with him. He kicked out his lawyer who was objecting to the process, kicked him out, and then said, don't worry, you've got the rest of your half dozen lawyers with you. Well, why wouldn't he have lawyers? I would certainly have as many lawyers as I could if I thought the government was trying to prosecute me for doing my job.
But I think we should talk about why they're doing this. They want to get him to say something which later they will say he was lying, right?
That's right. So at the very beginning of the hearing, Rand Paul asked Fauci to open up a copy of the U.S. Code and read the statute on perjury, which then Rand Paul read for him, reminded him that he was under oath repeatedly. And for me, I mean, I think what this is all about, much like the MK Ultra hearing was meant to sort of mobilize anger against the government, against our standard democratic procedures. The purpose of this is really to set the precedent for prosecuting political dissidents. And by making it seem as though Tony Fauci's guilty, whether he opens his mouth or not, that's a good way for them to further undermine trust in Tony Fauci. But the fact is, I think the fact that he took the fifth was the smartest thing he could have done, because no matter what he says at this thing, they were going to say, was it a lab leak? Rand Paul started off by asking him if he wanted to apologize to the American people for lying to them. And so obviously he did not do that. And I don't think he owes us any kind of apology. But, you know, whatever he would have said for that, if he would have said the scientific evidence doesn't support that it was a lab leak, they would have said that he was lying because Rand Paul is convinced that it's a lab leak and has all this fake evidence that they just made up that says that it is.
So what other kinds of scientific questions did he ask him?
Well, he asked him about the fear and cleavage site, which, of course, again, Tony Fauci didn't answer any of this because back in 2021, Tony Fauci did actually answer some of these things. And, you know, the fact is the fear and cleavage site. So what we've been talking about, the fear and cleavage site is an element in the spike protein where a pair of molecular scissors, effectively called furin, comes along and snips the protein in half. In other sarbecoviruses, which is what Rand Paul called them today, although he called them sarbecoviruses, I think.
Okay, we'll give him that.
That's okay.
So there's SARS-related beta coronaviruses, which is just a classification of these viruses, which include SARS-CoV-2, right?
That's correct. Yeah, so beta coronaviruses include SARS-related coronaviruses, MERS-related coronaviruses. And so that's what he was talking about. So no other SARS-related coronavirus has ever been found with a fear and cleavage site in it. However, MERS has multiple fear and cleavage sites in the spike protein. In other SARS-related coronaviruses, other proteases.
Man, that's another dagger. It's another dagger. Anybody acting like it don't got the site, she named them. It's another dagger. Sean, you want to add something to that? Boy, they in here cheating.
I mean,
go ahead, please, help me understand, because it sounds like you weren't going to answer. Like, help me understand why that's a dagger. I just want to understand it more scientifically.
Yeah, because when we talk about something being naturally born or manufactured, that site is one of the key pieces of evidence for the nature of the virus versus us turning around talking about it was made in a lab. Like these key areas and points on the virus. Remember, we talked about the cleavage site, but we used an example of the receptor binding domain, where those little branches, right? The little, like if you're looking at the virus, like if you look at the front of your virology book and you see the little, what would look like a branch and then the flowering of a tree, like at the top of it, down there where it attaches to the base of the virus or the circle part of the virus, those are intricate pieces around that point for naturalization. Anywhere that we can manipulate at any of those sites is going to immediately put the virus at a manipulation stage. So that's pretty much, that's what that's about.
So yeah, what he said was he said that there wasn't any viruses found with that site, and they named a couple viruses with that site. So
Yep.
here you go. I got a picture of it right here. All right, you got the E protein,
Yeah.
got the
So
M
there we
protein.
go, right there.
Let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all so y'all can see it. All right, here we go. That should be a little bigger for y'all. You want to add something to that, Sean? You see it?
Nah, because this is where we start learning, right? So during this whole pandemic and the processes of understanding, listening to Vincent Racaniello and reading his books and texts, we
Mhm,
started to understand what they were talking about, how to recognize the manipulation of a virus at these key site points.
mhm, mhm,
And because I'm taking a look at a virus, they all look different, but they'll show you a 3D image that
mhm,
might make it look similar. But then they start breaking that joker down and
mhm,
telling you where it would, where the naturalization would occur or would not occur. And then
mhm.
that's what made it important for us because at the tip, that little red stuff that we seeing that looks like a little flower
Right.
or a sprout,
That's right. That's
that's
right. Bro.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's where it will enter the cell.
It
That's the
connects.
beginning of the process.
Yeah, right here, the red things that connect to the cell. They call it the spike protein, and that's what they had in the mRNA. They had a protein that
Yep.
mimicked this right here.
And
That's
that's why we were able to defend it to create that immune
yep,
response. That's why we know it didn't go to the nucleus of the
right.
cell, is
Mm-hmm.
because we understood this particular site.
Yep. All right. So yeah, y'all just learned something today, but that's all they used was that spike right there. See that S protein? See that red thing right there? That connects to the cells right there. It's how it infects you. It's real. You should be more afraid of this than the virus, than the vaccine. The vaccine has a protein. It's not even real. Fake you out. Anyway, very interesting. All right, let's move on. Let's continue this video. Man, y'all listen to the community skeptics, man. Like and subscribe, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Let me drop the cash app back. Show some love, man. We got one cash app so far. Let me see. Use that. Didn't take it. You ain't had to take it. You fine. Yeah, whether you caught it, right, or got it, right, you know, it colonized the world. More than likely, everybody that had that. It colonized the
Natural
world.
immunity is more dangerous than a vaccine.
Of course, it don't even make sense. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. How the hell y'all gonna be afraid, more afraid of the daggone fake thing than the real thing? It's ridiculous. It's like, I'm gonna tell you what it's like. You ever went to the movies where they got these screens and it seems like images are coming at you, or you've been to an amusement park and they're like something coming at you? Yeah, y'all more afraid of that than jumping in front of a real train.
Hey, let me be clear though. Vote. Let's be. I mean, I think you give some more context to when you say natural immunity is more dangerous than the vaccine. So give that a little more context because like natural immunity in a lot of cases is actually stronger than a vaccine per se. So people are confused that and not understand what you mean when you say it's more dangerous.
Right,
Those are
right.
two different things. So give that clarity.
Yeah, so it's more dangerous because it's like an example of polio. Like with the polio virus, it was live initially when they first rolled it out. It was live, but it was weakened. So you had these different levels of that. But however, to make it short, the whole point is that the virus is more effective than is more deadlier than the vaccine because it's the real thing that's entering your body. It's not the synthetic version of that. It is the
Okay, yeah,
real
you
thing,
actually said
which would
natural
increase.
immunity. That's what made me ask you that. Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
virus
my
is
bad.
absolutely. Yeah, the virus is absolutely way more dangerous than the vaccine. But you actually said natural
I,
immunity. That's what made me
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
you.
that was my bad.
Okay, cool.
one thing I would say
What?
is that if the natural immunity worked, we would never get to the level of epidemic or pandemic. So from that, I can see what he's saying from that angle.
He didn't even
No.
mean
Because
it like that. He just said it wrong. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah,
be
yeah.
careful and not
I
mix
was
this up
just,
I
with
did say
I'm
it
just
wrong.
adding on
Yeah,
to the
let's be
conversation
careful
at
on
All
this
that.
right.
point.
Let me tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying is go ahead and get the smallpox. Natural. Get the smallpox. See, I don't
Yeah,
you
you
though.
might
Oh,
die,
you
but you
ain't
got
fighting
the
fair. You
immunity.
ain't fighting fair, bro. You is not. There's
hold
It's
on.
not
Nah,
a fair fight.
I don't play with these. I don't play with them. Right? They take that and run with it. Nah, here you go. I'm gonna show y'all some.
Yeah. Go
Y'all
get
want
the
to let me
disease
catch
and see how
smallpox?
that worked for you.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Y'all good.
Yeah.
And
Spread it to your family and
yeah,
everything.
I'm
See what happened.
advocating. I'm advocating for y'all to do all this. Don't get it. Don't get it. Here you go.
Chicken pox
Right here.
party.
Well,
Smallpox. Here you go. Right here. Go get that. Don't worry about it. Don't get vaccinated. Get that. Yeah, get that.
And here it is. Before we get too loose with it, we've been a little
Now
too
I'm super
loose.
loose.
No, we've
Hey,
been a little too
I'm not.
loose. And
Oh, whoa. I'm
because
not.
I'm saying we want to be accurate on here.
No,
So I know
I
you're
am
kind of playing a little bit.
Montoya. No, I'm dead serious. Get the smallpox. Don't get vaccinated against it. The thing is, when you get natural immunity, although it might produce stronger immunology, it might be stronger. But what about if the what if is there?
Of course,
You get that's the part. You rather get vaccinated than catch anything. You rather get vaccinated get anything they got a vaccine for, you rather get vaccinated for it.
I
Why?
definitely agree
Yeah.
with that.
There's a
Definitely
chance
want to agree
you
with that.
you the person might have something wrong with you don't know and end up dying. You the person might not handle it. You could get sick for real. It
Nah,
doesn't make sense.
and
That's why
here's the point. Here's the point, and you're absolutely right.
I would never say
I just like to just make sure that as because obviously we're advocates for scientists, and I'm just trying to say, but just to speak as
so
accurate as we can. And you are speaking accurate. I just want to
give me
take a
an
little
example
emotion
where
out of.
natural immunity is
I just,
better than getting a vaccine. Go ahead.
yeah. But I just want to take a little emotion and just speak it accurately
Ain't
from
no
this
I
standpoint.
am. There's no emotion in what I'm saying.
That's
Give
fair.
me
That's fair. Okay, so let me just say my point then, without saying that
yeah,
about
but
you.
give me an example.
I'm about to speak to what.
Look at the
You will not let me. You're not
Look at
letting me
the
say
vaccine.
it.
No, because I'm finally talking now. Give me the vaccine schedule and pick out one of them things that's better to go get that in real time than the vaccine. That's what I'm talking about.
I know that's what you're talking about.
Right?
I do. I
I
do
ain't
want
never
to.
heard a
I
biologist say
do.
that.
Yeah, but here it is. I do want to highlight that natural immunity is effective. I just want to highlight that.
Never said it wasn't. It's
No,
the
no, no.
risk.
I'm about to make another. I'm about to make a
Go
point.
ahead.
Okay,
Yeah, the
okay.
risk
Yeah,
reward.
because I'm saying we could get amped to the point where people almost feel like we're dissing natural immunity, and I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I just want to make
What?
sure
Listen, natural
we're
immunity, that's
not being
all
heard
we
that way.
had for
Yeah,
350,000 years.
because the picture you're pointing out here it is. Here it is.
It's
So what
natural
happened?
immunity.
God, can I finish?
Maybe, depending. You sound like you diving a
You
little.
ain't let me fit. You ain't let me say my point. You jumping in before I make my point.
Might be, because I don't.
But just respond after I make the point,
Go ahead.
please.
Go ahead. I just don't agree. Yeah, I
All I'm saying
definitely
is
don't agree.
because here's the thing that you're pointing out. I just want to be real clear here. What you're
Mm-hmm.
pointing out is
Yeah.
I don't even want to jump to the dying because at the end of the day, that 1% or 0.01% is not the deaths. Your bigger point is you absolutely could be in the 20% of adverse effect. That's why you showed that picture. So what happens is, yes, let's make it clear to anybody watching. Natural immunity is effective. The vaccine covers that 20% who could end up like that child on the show. You could be that one. You could be the one that gets crippled from polio while the majority of the community gets polio and is just fine. So
Oh
the
yeah,
vaccines basically closes the gap
you messing up.
on adverse effects. That's what people don't understand about why
Nah,
we
you messing
have
it up. Nah, you messing that
nationalized
up. Nah,
vaccines.
you messing that up. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now that coronavirus, yo, there's a lot of other things that come with that they still
I
studying.
just said 20% of people got
Yeah,
adverse effects from it.
yeah, it's
Long
Yeah, we don't
COVID,
want to
brain
You
know.
could be in
fog.
the 20%. So I'm not messing anything up. That's what people do. People think they just think about the deaths of COVID, not
we ain't
realizing
talking about no depth. Oh,
19% of
yeah,
people are
yeah,
still dealing with COVID
Long
thing right
COVID, they
now
call
because
it.
they're in
Yep.
that 19% that had adverse. To your point, you could have something wrong with you to where you have a long COVID. You could be in that 19%. Nobody ever talks about those people. So I'm just highlighting vaccines take away that 19%, that 20%.
yeah.
Yeah, but I also think part of it is that we
Vaccines
haven't.
protect you against that. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. So
yeah,
I'm just
you're
saying
you're
natural immunity, while fine, while good, it does not. You could be in that 20%. You don't have to be in the people that die. You could be in the 20% that are affected for life.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right, but I also think to paint the picture of just sort of giving people a real world example of this beyond COVID, since it's clearly a very divisive conversation. the thing is, you can look on the continent, or at least places of the world in which there is, where people are still largely dying from many of the diseases that have clearly been eradicated in what we consider the West. And you can see that even in this place where there would technically be, by definition, this herd, correct, immunization, correct, that is happening, it ultimately is still causing huge problems within the society. In essence, they have high rates of child mortality and other things that come along with that. And so even when you get those things, sure, the people who are survive, or sort of, in case it would be the survival bias, the people who end up surviving, yes, they will have that immunity, but there is the ravages from it ultimately are still painful, not only to the people who experience it, but much larger to the society, because you don't have enough humans who are healthy enough in order to have healthy societies. And so this is what many of the countries that you see that previously were dealing with these problems, that are now having those issues eradicated by vaccines. And so there is more than enough evidence that says that, yes, you can get that herd immunity, obviously. But in essence, you need evolutionary timelines, correct, in order for it to kind of show up, correct, in your gene pool, and it's no longer impacting you in that way. But in essence, the vaccines help compress that timeline, and obviously allows for these communities to thrive. And so actually one of the problems you see is that you hear anti-vaxxer talk about the fact that the vaccinations that are happening on the continent of Africa, it's actually producing women are having less children, but they perceive that as being a byproduct of the vaccines, when really it is a byproduct of the fact that the women don't feel like they have to have an abundance of kids in order for them to survive these problems. And so while they were having sort of 10 kids and then 4 surviving, they can actually now just have 4 kids without the 6 other births that were then ravaged by these diseases. And so I think we just need to make sure that we're also giving people what are real world examples of how the vaccines work and how herd immunity, although we know how it works, it isn't as effective in the sense of it just takes a longer, broad stroke of time in order for it to really be effective.
Yeah. Hey, I love that point you just made. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother. I love that point you just made because it's an opportunity just to highlight. You're just talking about human psychology. And so basically, throughout humans, especially before vaccines hit the scene, basically, it is the reason why families had large families, because infant mortality prior to vaccines was always high for humans, relatively around at a 50% rate per se. And so humans by nature, would not even a conscious thing, but subconsciously would have more children to make up for the loss of deaths at birth and things of that nature. And so to your point, brother, you're right. So when you see quote unquote developed countries or vaccines become nationalized, humans naturally, to your point, when infant mortality goes up, humans by psychological nature start having less children. And that thing you're talking about right now is that thing that people always get Bill Gates for years, a little over a decade ago, when he was talking about helping getting vaccines to Africa. They always say, look, he's trying to control the population, when he was actually speaking to the human psychology of what humans do when infant mortality goes down.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick to it. They go 2 twins. They twins. One was vaccinated and one relied on natural immunity. So I'm not sitting here playing this game. We got 2.9 billion people on the planet now, right? And a lot of that.
No, we just passed 8 billion. We just put
no,
past
it's
8
not.
billion.
It's 9 billion. They
9 billion. No, I didn't know we got to 9 yet.
Yeah, they 9. They miscounted.
We just crossed the next threshold. You were okay.
So my point is that part of that growth in population is we're not getting that sick, and no matter what you say, the greatest thing you have is your immune system. So what I'm not saying is that is better than your immune system. That's not what I'm actually saying. I'm saying vaccines actually use your damn immune system without giving you the full brunt of the daggone whatever you think it is. That's what I'm saying. It already gives you the code. Your body figures out the code in case the real stick-up man come. You know what they say, yo, don't get caught outside without it. So y'all can figure it out. Don't go out. I tell you what, you got brand new baby. If that's how you feel, it's a lot of black people now. They're not letting their infants come into the world vaccinated. Bet they're going to get a little bit of push from the mother's milk if she's vaccinated or if she got antibodies from natural immunity, right? Then after that, bro, that's why it's important for the babies to actually walk around and play and put stuff in their mouth, right? Because it's developing their immune system. So play with it, all right? I'm saying follow the vaccine schedule. All this herbs and spices and foolery, it's just that. All that, I want to catch. That's what they told me at the vaccine debate. That's why I'm so, when I asked Del Bigtree, I say, bro, so then what do you do? I said, if not vaccines, what? This what he said. I'm gonna put my kids, I'm gonna give them measles so small. I want them to have all that. I was like, what? Yo, that's your answer?
Yeah, he gonna expose them.
And that's when white people start looking at them saying, huh? So that's why they don't tell a story. But I'm going to tell you right now, after that vaccine debate, where 99.99% of the black people in that room was against me, that's the elders too. They was on the other side, talking crazy. Stand on the side of white people they claim not to like, talking crazy. Divine Suspect was talking about red algae. Nonsense, right? Professor James Small was talking about, well, you know, I don't get no back, whatever. I called him up, I said, you better get vaccinated. That's when this pandemic came in. So he was talking that crazy for that pandemic came in. I called him, I said, bro, you got to get vaccinated. What you doing? Right? In that room, that man's advice was, after all the information, his advice was, we're just going to catch a natural immunity. So he was fighting for natural immunity. For 350,000 years, all humans had was their damn immune system. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know what they talking about. I'm never trying to hear none of that at all. So I'm going to stay with it. That natural immunity thing is cool, but it ain't dope. Okay?
The reason,
Yo.
the reason that we live as long as we live today is because of vaccines.
I know.
It was short-lived. So we still have to remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So natural immunity ain't all what it's caked up to be. Yes, you'll get a stronger immune response, but it comes at a hefty price. Because you don't know the specifications of what's coming out. And right now they're doing studies now and more research on people who caught COVID, had long COVID, still have long COVID responses like shortness of breath at random times in their lives, still lapses of brain fog, other functions of their bodies not reacting a certain way. And it's still within them and it's acting kind of crazy, but it's just not known to everybody because people with these symptoms, they just think that they're just having a moment or something like that. Let me hold on, let me sit down. But yo, y'all are really, a lot of people are really experiencing long COVID, and you got a sector of people, because I was just looking on Facebook again, like somebody I know that's in Kentucky that's actually in the medical field now, wasn't then, but in the medical field now. And they're like, well, I refuse the shot. I use religious exemptions and this, that, and the third. And other people are like, I refuse it. I refuse. That's not a flex. Going on social media and talking about you refuse to get vaccinated, it's not a flex, because guess what happened? Because of the 240 plus million people who did get vaccinated and received the booster and so on and so forth, that helped create some level of herd immunity surrounding the spectacle of what actually would occur to these people had we not reached that 90 something percent of our population.
Right. And when we did that through vaccination and people just catching it. All right, I'm saying it's better to get, if it's something going, it's better to get vaccinated, man. Let me read this super chat. Rasul, he say, my homie died in Honduras with Dr. Sabi, April 6, 2011, fighting kidney failure. He didn't want traditional methods of using another vein for his diet. Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you know me, you know, as your homeboy, I'm not going to say nothing. All right, I'm going to let that go. But let one of y'all wind up in a position because you was ignorant of something. Nope, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to move on. Because you definitely got a right to be ignorant. You got,
Yeah,
you
but
got
I
a right
would
to
be
be
like, let's literally
Natural
take that guy
selection.
with-
I'll say 2 words, bro. Natural selection.
But nah, I
That's
just want
what
to
it
give that guy.
is. Natural selection.
Yeah, go ahead,
The
Mark.
world don't care.
Yeah, I really want to give that guy props for being willing to say, hey, let me put my money up here to say, hey, here's the risk of listening to pseudoscience
Yep.
versus listening versus real science. So I really
Yep.
want to pay that guy respect for being willing to support y'all channel and highlight,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
how unfortunate what happened to his friend was for listening to pseudoscience. So let's make sure we're giving that guy his props. It definitely not, I know, ain't no, we don't got to talk about nobody, but let's make sure we give that guy his props.
Yeah, we'll give you props,
Hey,
man.
you know that dude ain't never respected nothing Savvy said after that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's keep it real about our natural immunity.
Yeah, you
If
better.
our natural immunity was really effective, we would never get to the level of a pandemic or an epidemic. I said it earlier, but I wanted to restate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, for the dumb people in the back. If our natural immunity was actually effective in all cases, we would never get to the level of epidemic or pandemic. So once a disease gets to that level where it's overtaking humanity, we got to step in, or we just going to let the disease run through us and do what it do. History teaches us that we had a bottleneck where at one point humans, Homo sapien, almost went extinct, and when it was only like 2,000 of us in Africa. You know what I mean? It can get real like that real quick.
It's already real.
You know what I mean?
Let me,
You know what I mean? That like the spooky people say this universe is made by a loving God and this and this and that. When in reality, like Neil deGrasse say, the universe is trying to kill us every single day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Hey, Preem, man, I want to.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. We got the champ in the building. 2-1 Reggie.
What up, Reggie? What up, Reggie?
The champ is here. We just want to always get that out to Reggie, man.
Hey, Preem, man, you real dope with your information, man. I know, and Unc already kind of said this to you. I'm just gonna kind of keep putting this in your head. Quit calling people dumb and stupid, man.
I know. I can't help it, man. Sometimes I can't help it.
You say you can't help it, but I'm telling you.
Well, I can help it.
Just listen for a second. Just
it's
listen
years,
for a second.
Bro. My
Don't
bad.
respond right now. Just listen for a second. I'm trying to help
you ain't gonna get the Preem. I gave him the speed. He's not listening.
Yeah, no, but I want to say this too. I want him to hear this real clear. So right now, brother, your information is so on point. You are only being able to talk to the choir. When you call somebody dumb, they do not listen and they run out the room. So you're not even getting to talk to the people who need to hear you by always.
I'm trying to run all the ignorant people out the room now, because I'm
just saying, Preem, you got too much good information to keep doing
whatever.
that.
Bro, you know what, man? Honestly, bro, I feel what you saying. But you know what you seeing, bro?
Now you just
no. I'm saying like, bro, I know I'm wrong. And that's the thing.
You're not wrong.
What you seeing is years of frustration, bro.
Now the fight over
what you seeing is years of being ignored.
If you're gonna stay in ego.
Hey, Preem, listen what I'm saying, Preem. Listen, he talking like the Dalai Lama right now. I ain't listening to him.
He just got too much good information that's gonna go unheard. I Preem know his shit. I can see that.
At a certain point, yo, you got to bust him in the head.
Yeah. No, you know what it is, bro? I'm the one you call in after the nice guys stop working.
It don't work. I'm not calling you in because nobody's gonna listen to you. That's worthless. If
what
you
million
become
mark are
worthless
you
at
at?
that point. Nobody's gonna listen.
Right here.
You're right though, bro. You right. I do gotta
I would never call you in. I would never call you in.
Hey, Montoya, you know what I say? You know what I say,
bro? Yeah, you gotta wait.
I say I gotta work on my bedside manner.
Yeah, well, you ain't trying to.
I admit
love it
that.
right now.
So you're not wrong.
You love not having it.
You're not wrong, bro. I know I gotta work on my bedside manner, bro. I do. I ain't gonna lie.
You too thorough to keep doing that part. You too thorough for that.
I want to say this, Preem. Don't listen to him.
see, I like when I'm in attack mode, Montoya. That's what you gotta realize, bro. I'm up here for a reason.
Like, hey, now here it is. Let's get like entertaining clowns, so he needs you when they on here talking to the clowns.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here for a reason. I know.
When you bring clowns on, I get it. But I'm just saying, when you trying to reach the people and you calling the people dumb and stupid, that's
But we
whack.
ain't talking to the people. We talking to the people.
No, we ain't got them on the show, so he don't need to do that right now.
We do that in the chat. We talking to the dummies in the chat. You do that.
Stop that shit, man. Come on,
In the
man.
chat. We gonna see it. Like, let me rewatch.
You know what? I
This
can't
is
even be mad.
comment.
Like Montoya, a
Hold
good dude, I could tell. So I
No.
can't even, yeah, I mean, I
Don't
can't
listen
even
to
come at him like sideways like I probably normally would.
You can't come at him sideways. But that's why Montoya here. He like the balance. He don't. He refused to call Umar Johnson an idiot. He is a damn idiot. Robbing people money. I'ma say it. You scamming for the last 20 years. Montoya won't say it. See the difference? He's scamming, yo. And he taking people money, yo. And he been doing it for a fake school that he don't got. See, I can say that, and I feel relieved. They throw so much craziness at us, bro, that I gotta get you. I got you. Anyway, I get it.
Yeah,
That's
see,
why
yeah, see, you know what else too?
he's a
Montoya
nice
don't
guy.
see. Montoya don't see when we get attacked.
Yeah, he know.
Man,
No,
I've
I
been
know.
called.
I see it. I see
I've
it.
been
I just
called
tell you.
all
I
types of
tell.
stuff, bro.
I think I just hear this. When I am not gonna get in line with ignorant people attacking me. They don't. They once hear this. Once I've always said, as soon as you name call me, I know I won.
We all know that.
No, I'm just saying. So yeah, once I know I won, why am I gonna play the same game with you?
Because now I want to
Because
get back.
you got to resort to name calling because my information killing you. So once you
I
name
agree.
call me, I don't even care.
Yeah, I got you. But now it's time. Now it's time to be. Now I want to be mean. Like,
I
let me
Pretty
be.
understand, but
much.
I'm just saying. That's what I laugh at that point. I laugh at once you
Hold on,
name call
Cream.
me, I laugh.
Hey, Cream. Now I want to be mean for
I
all
know,
y'all,
right?
for all y'all people that refuse, right, to listen to reality. Why do you cross the street and why do you drive a car? Did you know it's safer to take a vaccine than driving your car? So all y'all who are afraid of a vaccine, not afraid of coronavirus, why you driving your car? You stand a better risk of crashing and dying in your car in America on them roadways, driving every single day, than you do ever taking a vaccine. So why you in your car? See, I won't make them scared to drive, right? I want you to, every time they get in that car, I want you to be potentially gonna kill yourself. I want you to keep that
That
in
ain't
your
gonna
mind.
work. It's a good
It
analogy.
don't gotta work, but I want them to know you be afraid to drive because it can kill you. It can kill you.
Well, you know what I always tell people. This is a reality. And again, I'm not even trying to. I'm not going to call nobody stupid. But the reality is, vaccines are safer than baby Tylenol. It's the only medicine they give out while you're healthy. There's no other medicine that we're given when healthy.
All right, let's go. Was a specific part of the thing you want me to go to, Sean? Where you at, Sean?
Molecular scissors will come along and make this cleavage, but the cleavage has to happen. Many other viruses have evolved to have furin cleavage sites. High path influenza, Ebola. What am I forgetting? You probably know them all.
I like the high path influenza. That's a great example of a furin cleavage site.
And
many other viruses do also.
And the high path flu is actually very interesting with the furin cleavage site because it is the acquisition, the natural acquisition of a furin cleavage site that makes it go from low path.
Yeah, and so what he's saying is the senator said the reason it's not a natural virus because it got that cleavage site, and no other virus has that. He just straight lied. And why isn't he under investigation for giving us bad information? So that's what it was for.
Yeah, because nobody else wants to waste the taxpayer money to go after somebody like that. That's why.
But they already going after.
No, I'm just saying he's doing it to
This is a
Fauci.
good
But I'm
example.
Nah, it
saying
takes
ain't
somebody
nobody
from the
going.
other side to do it, Unc.
They're
It
not
takes
gonna waste.
somebody
They're
from the
not gonna
other
waste
side to
money
do
doing
it,
it.
and they don't have the power to actually
Oh,
do
well,
anything for
no,
real.
would they waste money doing it? I don't think.
Why not? Just for games and giggles. All right, there you go. That's what it's saying.
I've seen low pathogenicity, which means they don't cause a lot of disease in chickens, go from low to high by acquisition of a furin cleavage site. No one has ever accused anyone of putting it there for avian influenza. Why not?
They sort of have.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Who did it? Tell me.
Peter McCullough, that anti-vaxxer, the guy, the profiteer that Ron Johnson works with, he wrote a paper called like the proximal origin of H5N1.
Oh.
And it suggests, this is an even crazier story. Sorry about the sidebar, guys, but this is how crazy this stuff is getting. This guy wrote this paper that suggested that H5N1 is a lab leak, but from 2 labs, USDA lab in Georgia, I think, and then a lab in, I want to say, Ukraine, which actually is kind of relevant to this because some of the evidence against Fauci are these documents about biolabs that were run in other countries, including Ukraine, by the Department of Defense. And the reason for this was actually, this program started decades ago, to build international relationships with other countries, and especially former Soviet countries like Ukraine, that might, partner up with other people that are not so friendly to us if we don't make friends with them first. So we funded these labs where we could work with them and where we could support them in doing important work. Like, for example, what Tulsi was all upset about was H5N1 avian influenza surveillance work in Ukraine, which was standard genomic sequencing and sampling. It was not any kind of gain of function, anything. And yet it's being painted as some kind of gain of function work, when in reality, this is really important for food safety and food security. Ukraine is the world's 6th largest poultry producer. So it makes sense that the U.S. would invest money in avian flu control in Ukraine.
So we're just trying to do things to protect human health, and we get accused of nefarious things.
That's right. And in the course of doing that, we're also safeguarding American interests and national security, which I think is something that people also don't talk about enough. Our community doesn't always talk about that, except for in the sense of what kind of grants we might be able to get or biodefense. But I think that people really do need to understand that, like, this whole entire thing is designed to make good things that America used to do, like building multilateral relationships and making the world a safer place and doing important high impact research that save lives, making it seem like it was a waste of time or fraudulent or even malicious.
It's very easy to be swayed if you listen to the senators throwing out all these terms, even though they don't make any sense and there's no continuity. The person on the street would say, yeah, this is really bad. We shouldn't let this happen. But it's not the senators you should listen to. You should be listening to the scientists who are doing the work. And senators, yeah, this is really sense and there's no continuity. There's throwing out all these terms, even though they don't make any sense and there's no continuity. The person on the street would say, yeah, this is really bad. We shouldn't let this happen. But it's not the senators you should listen to. You should be listening to the scientists who are doing the work and are doing it to protect you. I mean, so this idea about this cleavage site, just the fact that it's not present in the related viruses means nothing.
Yeah.
In biology, that's how things are. Some things are present and sometimes they're not, right? And so to accuse someone of putting it there is crazy.
So I was talking.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen, man, let's take a quick commercial break, man. This is wild. That's crazy right there. Y'all heard that? I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Man, I tell you, man. Very, very interesting, man. Let me see. Where is that at? I don't even know what that's at. What that's at. Okay. Nope. Got that, man. So, man, look. Take your time, man. I'm gonna take this Cash App break for a minute, right? Man, y'all listen to the community. Skeptics, man. Man, we're gonna look back on this video to kind of educate y'all about some experts, man. Vincent Racaniello. Great guy, man. I suggest you support his podcast.
Reg Mabry said your debate saved lives. That's dope.
Huh? Yeah.
Reg Mabry said your debate saved lives. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, because we was ahead of the curve, yo. We was ahead.
That's all good. I was just dope. I thought that was dope. I thought it was super dope for somebody to say that.
Ahead of the curve, bro. Yep. And not because the Spirit of the Lord didn't tell me that. It was reading science, and it was a need in our community by talking to my family. And I realized that they was ignorant on the subject matter and said all kind of crazy things about vaccines. I didn't even know it was a problem. But based off of that education, when the pandemic came, the family got vaccinated. So I ain't gonna lie to you. I was trying to save my family first. It always starts at home. right? My immediate family, then aunts and uncles and grandmothers. All right. And it spurned from that, conversation we had, man. I realized that they was thinking that the flu shot gave you flu. I was like, no, it don't. Explained it. I realized that the vaccines, this, that, and the other. It's been a general ignorance in the African American community about vaccines because we never think twice about it. And for the most part, we got vaccinated. Now, all of a sudden, we're on this new path of destruction, actually following people who we claim we don't want to follow. It's the craziest thing. You don't listen to the qualified people, but you're willing to listen to what would you call that, Montoya? What do you call that, Montoya? I see you, Preem.
I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, it's people with the gift of gab who gonna end up selling you something because that's typically what they do. They end up selling you something. We know, a lot of the cats that remember that those guys that got banned off the internet, that got known for getting banned off the internet. Most of them was selling you, detoxes and things of that nature. So I don't know necessarily what you'll call it, but that's literally what was happening. And I would just like to give my personal story that, you had me on Blog Talk for years and I stayed there, as you always say, too long. But I definitely looked at one of my old shows and a little over a year before COVID hit, I was already worried about not knowing, that was going to have a novel virus such as COVID. But I had literally did a show with the immunization doctor because I was getting concerned with how many of Black people specifically were starting to listen to the anti-vaxxers and started not to vaccinate their children. And because, to Preem's point earlier tonight, because I knew how our community was, I have a whole show over a year in advance of saying, please stop listening to these people because we're going to start seeing a return of some of these diseases if you keep not getting vaccinated. And lo and behold, it almost damn near was a prediction for what happened a little over a year later.
Well, maybe we was I could have sworn we ain't never stopped communicating for a year. I know we was talking through that whole time because I remember I was beating up Wishmacom and them on YouTube a year in advance. Me and Sean.
Yeah.
We the
I didn't
whole
say we
year.
never stopped talking. I was just saying that I had done
Yeah,
a
I'm pretty
show.
sure I remember. I kind of remember that. I remember that
I
show.
did a show at that time. That's when I talked to the Morehouse Medicine. I had them on the show. It was just
Yeah, why you ain't go back to them?
because I was just worried about our community being harmed
Yeah,
by
we should
this,
went back on that.
by
But
getting
hold on
right.
one second. All right, hold on one second. Let me do that.
Don't let it run you. Money fill the gaps, but it never feel honey. Cash it.
Dreams get so fast, and you don't own your time. You just rent your bag.
Cash it. Dreams full of flash. Real life hit hard when the rain comes next. Cash it.
Two now.
Man, y'all listen to the Community Skeptics, man. Show some love, man. Hit the super chats, man. Appreciate everybody coming out, man. We doing this look back, man. Man, it's a good one, man. Vincent Racaniello and Dr. Angela. Yep, talking about that Senate hearing, man, with Fauci. It was definitely a fiasco. Giving you all the real information, man, so you can take it back to your household and your family and your community, man, and get this right, man. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in, man. Drop the link, man. If y'all got some questions and concerns about anything you heard tonight, we here. We got Preem. We got Sean, my ace boom coon, man, when it comes to vaccines, man. We got Grant. Man, we got Montoya, man. We here, man. We doing our thing. We keeping it super, super solid, man. We appreciate all the help. Appreciate all the support, man. And y'all know how we doing it, man. So let's get right back to where we was at, and let's just finish listening to the dialogue.
To a couple of our colleagues today, and I missed this talk too. I don't know if you saw it, but one of our colleagues had been doing a lot of deep sequencing, like really, really deep sequencing of bat samples, and found fear and cleavage sites that basically you could see at a very, very low frequency, there are viruses emerging that have at least a furin motif.
Yeah, these were not in bats. They were in cells in culture.
Okay.
If you just grow the virus under certain conditions, you can see the generation of novel furin cleavage sites. These viruses do a lot of rearranging of their genome. And so it's very likely that this happened in nature and that gave rise to this.
That's incredible work.
Yeah, it was very simple. And when you look at the science, you get answers. You know, this is why this whole hearing is nonsense, because they don't provide any evidence, just accusations.
Just accusations. And the problem is they do provide evidence, but it's not really evidence. It's pseudo evidence. They provide, this Tony Fauci's diary kind of thing. Pseudo. The problem is they do provide evidence, but it's not really evidence. It's pseudo evidence.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You want to add something to that, Preem?
Yo.
Yeah.
This point and the clip before this, he got into it where he was like, and this goes back to our scientifically literate thing. He was like, yeah, they're senators and they're saying this stuff that sounds scientific. So people, it leads people to believe them. And then she follows that up by saying it's not, they don't have evidence. Well, they do have evidence, but it's pseudo evidence. Notice a pattern, bro. Notice a pattern. They pretty much saying, yo, these people are going in front of the American people and pretty much lying to them. To get them to for whatever the agenda is, but it just but what they're saying is pretty much what their arguments are nonsense just on the face of it. But if you're not scientifically literate, you're not going to be able to pick them out of the lineup. If you the last two comments, the clip you just played and the one before that, that's what they're talking about explicitly. And we have to, as a people, we have to arm ourselves to be able to understand the language, because if we don't, we just gonna keep falling victim. We're gonna keep doing the automatic Pavlovian response. Oh, the white man said it, so I'm gonna do the opposite. But what if the white man telling you to do the right thing for an occasion? Now you gonna be doing the wrong thing. Also, that leads to manipulation, because if the white man wants to manipulate you, all he has to do is say B, and he know you gonna go back to A because he said B. So at the end of the day, we got to become scientifically literate, and we got to learn how to critically think our way through situations.
Yeah. Sean, you want to add something to that? Where you at? You still here?
Hey, Preem, man, if you get a chance, subscribe to my YouTube page, Mental Dialogue. I think you will like what we're doing.
Most stuff I will, bro. I will. I ain't got no problem. I like, you know what I mean?
Where you at, Sean?
Not on here.
Grant. Sean on here. He's the Aboriginal killer. Grant, you want to add something to that, Grant?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I think she's pointing out, I think what I was saying earlier is that in essence, they're saying all the things that sort of reinforces the bias of people who are already down the rabbit hole. And so they're just sort of sprinkling the road with enough chum, correct, that sort of gets the motor going for those who are addled by these sorts of conspiracies. In essence, they're not offering anything other than chaos. And so as long as they keep everyone, sort of swirling around these sorts of issues, they don't have to pay attention to the fact that the president is robbing us blind and is actually filling his own coffers with money. And so this is just theater. But for those who are who are falling on this side of the ledger, they really do believe it. And unfortunately, I feel pretty confident saying that the president does not believe any of it. Correct? I don't think he cares either way. I think what he does care about is the fact that he can gin up these sorts of issues, and he can keep some people disengaged. I was going to say, Montoya had a show the other day about the share of black votes that went towards Trump, And I was going to point out that this is it, correct? This is the game that they play. Because I do think that they feel like this is an inroad into a segment of the Black population that actually believes a lot of these things that make them either apathetic about voting and or brings them to their side of the ledger because they're conspiracy addled. And I think it's important that we keep pointing out the fact that these individuals who claim to be Blackologists or people who care about Black Americans are often being used by a white racist infrastructure in order to disenfranchise them as the Black voter, as well as Black voters writ large. So I think it's very, very, very disappointing to see this circus play out.
Yeah, they're getting the health information from Alex Jones. Yeah.
They provide, this Tony Fauci's diary kind of thing, where making it seem like it's a crime to be impressed by the fact that you met celebrities. I don't know how I'd feel if I were Tony Fauci going through the pandemic and being, having people make candles about me and bobblehead dolls and, all kinds of Saint Fauci and the Fauci ouchie and merchandise and stuff. I think it would be really weird to be in that situation. And I don't think that there's anything in Tony Fauci's diaries that suggests wrongdoing or that suggests that he had some sort of secret nefarious plan. I also think that Tony Fauci is smart enough that if he did have a secret nefarious plan, he probably wouldn't have written it out on his government laptop.
I mean, people do all kinds of things that are unrelated to their work, and you can dig all this out, and it doesn't look good that you got awards, that you liked celebrities, but that's not really relevant to the main question.
No.
Right? And he had nothing to do with the origin of SARS-CoV-2 and COVID. There's zero evidence that points to it. Yet you can cloud the issue by pulling in all this other stuff, which to some people it's, he's a little bit shady, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he took this money and so forth. But it's not correct.
Well, that's what they started with at the very beginning. As soon as he pleaded the fifth, it was like, why would you plead the fifth if you haven't done anything wrong? But he pled the fifth for the same reason that he got the pardon, which Josh Hawley pointed out, Republican from Missouri, who made a big point to support the January 6th traitors. I should add, Josh Hawley kept saying, why would an honest person need to take the fifth? Why would you take the fifth? If you haven't done anything wrong, it's illegal for you to take the fifth because you've been fully pardoned with this illegal pardon that Joe Biden gave you. And I want to be really clear, like the reason that Joe Biden pardoned Fauci in advance was not because he'd done anything wrong. It's the same reason he pardoned members of his family and members of the January 6th committee. It's because he anticipated that this exact kind of political persecution would occur. And in fact, it has. So why else would Tony Fauci not take the fifth when he's literally there so that they can entrap him with whatever he says?
Exactly. That's the point. He took the fifth because they would entrap him later. And there's just no point in subjecting yourself to that.
And like I said, every single Democrat said that was the purpose. And I was really happy because the Democrats have not always been covering themselves in glory in terms of their defense of science. Oftentimes, especially on this committee, Senator Peters has gone back and forth about how much he's really stood up for scientists, I think. And I think some of that was that the Democrats, just kind of didn't want to make the scientific stuff an issue because very technical, and it really shouldn't be a politically divisive issue. However, that's what it is. And Gary Peters, in particular, the ranking member of the HSGAC, so the Democrat, the minority leader of it, wrote a furious letter to Rand Paul a couple weeks ago when basically he found out that the Democrats were going to be excluded from this transcribed interview before Rand Paul subpoenaed Fauci. And good for him. I mean, he talked about that today, how historically science has always been a bipartisan political pursuit. And now it has.
Oh, man. So you saying they excluded the Democrats? Man, let's talk about that. Let me let you go first, Prim. They excluding people now. Go ahead. I'm going to mute out. Go ahead.
They wanted to. They wanted to. They didn't. They wanted to, but they didn't.
So you said he wanted to.
You heard me?
You said they wanted to.
Yeah, she was saying, the guy wrote the letter, and that's how they got included. That's what she was saying.
So they wanted to exclude him. Go ahead, Preem.
Right. And that just feeds into this thing, man, that all of this stuff is politics. And again, at the beginning, at the top of the broadcast, one of the things I said was pseudos love to play in a gray area, and then that's what the administration is giving them, because he know a large part of his constituency is pseudo. They're on pretty much, they're just pretty much contrarians, and that they are going to believe whatever narrative he weaves or whatever for them. That all he got to do is dangle it out there for him, and they're gonna take it. Um, these people, man, like the people, and I know you remember this. Like, and I'm a focus on the conscious community on this, just to give a microcosm of the macrocosm. See, all of these anti-vax people, they're just contrarians. Because if you remember, in the conscious community, first we said black people couldn't get it. Then after black people started getting it, you had motherfuckers like, oh, pardon my language. You had people like Polite claiming that
5G.
COVID was actually being caused by 5G. And a lot of y'all anti-vax dudes right now, y'all believed him.
All the way.
Y'all believed Polite when he said 5G was causing COVID. I remember that. Y'all believed him. So then, and then after he got pushed off of that position or whatever, then the vaccine came out, and then y'all was anti-vax. I'm saying this to say, y'all was just pretty much contrarians from the beginning. Y'all never thought about this issue critically. Y'all just picked a side and y'all riding it out. The vaccine was y'all last point. Y'all was trying to say it didn't affect black people. Y'all was trying to say it came from 5G. Y'all even was trying to say viruses wasn't real and they don't exist. See, I remember all of this stuff y'all was saying. So when y'all come now talking about this Fauci and the anti-vax, y'all have zero credibility, because I know you never was trying to find the truth from the beginning.
Never was. Where you at, Keaton? Alex P. Keaton, where you at?
I mean, it's clearly a hack job by a party that I don't even know if they've regressed as much as they've always had this feature about them of wanting to bring back the Stone Age of their racism. And in essence, they've sat back in the cut, just waiting for the perfect avatar for their racism, which is Trump. And he says whatever, and I think he's able to galvanize people, very well. Unfortunately, I mean, it's really unfortunate, and I think we're paying a price for it. It's also amazing to watch two very intelligent scientists talk about this in a very sober way. I don't think we're being serious enough about the unseriousness of the people who are anti-vaxxers, and how much, how much a lot of us, I try to remind everyone. I used to laugh at the QAnon people, because I was actually early in the QAnon chat. I was on 4chan. And so I saw it early on, and we were laughing at them, and we didn't think that they would one day be sitting next to the president and correct these people. But I do think part of it is, I as much as I appreciate Montoya's very sober and staid approach to it, I do get Preem's frustration. I do get his desire to want to verbally abuse people, because I do think when we look out far enough into the future, these people could rise up. Correct? They could become the new Black MAGA, and we could all be they could strangle our community, unfortunately. And I think we're afraid of that, and we should be.
Yeah, well, I think Preem actually said that at the very beginning and was correct. I mean, I'm talking about the very beginning of this broadcast. So there's a bunch of reality to what you just said. It ain't that I don't understand the frustration. I'm just talking about, if we're gonna stave it off by starting with insults, you're gonna have no chance of staving it off, because we still got to catch the people that are not too far gone, who are trying to figure out, who do I listen to. And so and if you just run people off because whatever literacy that we've chosen, or how whatever critical thinking that we already have. It's just a waste of time to be in that area if you're going to actually try to help people. And we do need to help people because we're at that stage. Here's the telling sign of it all, because I do I do race, sex, and culture on the mental dialogue perspective, but I do have a political show. But the telling sign of it all is the fact that we're coming up on another election, and people are worried about the safety of our elections, and they got the theory from somebody who won twice. He won twice, and people are concerned with our election safety. The Carter Center here in Georgia actually does all of the testing of elections around the world, and we literally have one of the most protected, safest elections in the world. But there are people who actually think our elections are not safe. That shows where we are as a society. If a person who won twice is the one that's able to convince the American people that our elections are not safe. Now, of course, all of us don't believe it, but there is enough for it to actually still be a running narrative, and people are concerned about election safety. Again, I'm here in Georgia. This is off topic, but it's to show you how far we've gone as a society. And 4 years ago, when he did lose, there was these two black women who had moved a box. They were caught on camera, and they got death threats because they was told that those boxes were actual ballots. They were not counted here in Georgia. It was proven not to be the case, but they got death threats over that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how far we've fallen as a society. So to your point, Grant, and to Preem's point, that's where we're at. So definitely the frustration I get, I'm actually just more about, if we're not going to stave it off using that approach.
I get it, but some of them niggas deserve it though.
I'm not saying they don't. That's not what you hear me say. I'm just trying to reach.
That's what I can't get past,
we
bro.
Need to reach. We need to reach the
I
people
know,
that we
and
can
I know
reach. The people that's gone, fuck them. That's what I meant.
Bro, on an intellectual level, you are 100% correct, and I cannot rebuttal what you're saying. But it just, you know what I mean? It's, you know what it is, bro? It's frustration in dealing with these folks on a regular basis. And that's what it is, because we are human. You know what I mean? We are human. And even the folks that's trying to do good work, you know what I mean? It's only, we got to have our minutes to be human. That's all. You know what I mean? But you're right. You know what I mean? If we actually want to be effective communicators, we kind of got to let it slide off. But I ain't going to lie, I ain't that elevated yet.
And I'm just challenging you to get there. That's all.
Right. I got you. I
don't expect you to be there tomorrow, but I hope in a few years.
I got you.
My boy Ankh, I've been battling him for years, and he just smoothed out. He just smoothed out a whole lot. Now, when y'all over here doing his thing over here, he wilding out. But I'm just saying, outside when he out in public, he don't be wilding out like that no more.
Right. See, me and Ankh got a similar spirit. We kind of, you know what I mean? We kind of confrontational.
He smoothed out. When he come to my stuff, he smoothed out. When he come to my side, he smoothed out now.
I deal with this guy. Look.
When I watch my grandfather die, when I watch my grandmother
oh yeah, polite. Oh, this nigga, man.
I couldn't do nothing for them because I was ignorant. I didn't even have a solution. I didn't have a suggestion. The only thing I could do is say those people got the plaques hung up there. They know more.
Yeah. This is what we was fighting against.
Look, I'm fighting.
My life was at their disposal. Completely ignorant. Didn't know where to go, where to start, just to see if I could verify, substantiate, or probably corroborate the testimony of the damn doctor, so I could feel confident and have the conviction that he's doing the right thing.
Look, he can't even talk right. Devil talk to him. Look, the truth about 5-year coronavirus. And look, man, this is what we dealing with, bro. I ain't never going. Yeah, I don't mean no harm, yo. Here, run you over.
Someone else.
Yeah, see, that's the type of dudes we used to dealing with, bro.
He'll run you over.
So it's like,
he'll run you over, Montoya. I don't mean he'll run you over and run circles around you.
He would not. I done came on your show and ate these cats alive. You know.
No, you wouldn't have. They made you so mad. They made you so hot.
Because I always call out I always ask them that question that fucks them up. I mean, that messes them up.
Feet on the devil's neck. We're not doing that. We out here talking about, you know what? We're going to save your home, brother. And this shit is over, people.
You don't got a
Let
million.
him do it again twice. Use a crackhead at
Like, what is that in the background? What is that?
I'm pretty sure that was in Total Recall. I'm pretty sure.
Nah, that's a virus. That's a
Yo,
virus.
man, I remember this lecture, yo. I remember that time frame.
He don't know what virus that is, but if you open your book, if you open the book where the viruses are on, that same virus is in the book, the image.
Yeah, it is. He done made
It's
his
a basic image.
Yeah, he said
That's
something
that's an image out of a textbook.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
made it.
but he don't know it. But
He
he don't know it.
Yeah, he says.
Yeah, when you learn biology and you learn about viruses, that's the picture they give you.
Look, we gotta deal with this. Look, original man. Look, Unc was wrong about the jab. He listened to Dr. Fauci. That's supposed to listen to polite.
How was you wrong? How was you wrong about the vaccine?
See, this is what I'm saying.
They will
Don't
never come up that.
entertain it.
This
Don't
the type of
entertain it.
niggas we
Don't
argue
entertain
with.
it. Don't entertain it. Don't entertain it.
See, Montoya seeing it. Look, see, Montoya seeing it. Like, all right, don't react,
I already
y'all.
know. I
Don't
already know.
react.
I know. I'm saying don't even waste no time on it.
Don't waste no time on it.
Yeah, these the people we gotta deal with, bro. And they
Montoya,
you know what? You know what it is, Montoya? I even made up a word. I called it agnorance. It's a mix between ignorance and arrogance. And that's what most of these niggas got, bro. And it's hard to deal with. And me being from where I'm from, I only know how to deal with it one way.
Big up the Ben.
I'm an energy matcher, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. Yo, you know you fight.
I'm an energy matcher. I match energy.
Yeah, so I fight fire with fire, yo. That's how you put out a big fire, yo. You use a bigger fire. You start the fire over here.
All right, Preem, I'm gonna give you that. Well, here's where I'm gonna still give you game at. When you on here with us, you was calling people stupid and dumb, and they ain't on here.
They is.
That's
we
true.
So you starting out with the energy when they ain't even up against it.
He missed the ugly stuff that was in the chat, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm getting.
It's a lot going on here.
Hey, Preem, I'm getting it back for all the times I did respond when I'm saying something.
Exactly.
Hey, you getting back what they did to the Cold Crush?
Exactly. For them times I was in the chat and I couldn't get on the panel and say nothing.
Yeah, I'm getting back. Yeah, I own.
Look at y'all justifying calling people stupid. That's crazy.
It's not like we wrong, bruh.
Can't be wrong, yo. If you went through a whole pandemic, yo, listen to me, yo. You've been through a whole pandemic. The president of the United States is Donald Trump. Let me meet you out, Montoya, because you got it. Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the president in office when Fauci was in office. When Fauci was at the head in NIH, he right there.
Fauci.
It's an Italian name, Fauci. Now put some money on that. It's an Italian name. I said it like I was an Italian. That's how the Italians say it. Now,
that is the blackest Italian I've ever heard.
And that's black time, Fauci. Anyway, I like that spaghetti. Anyway, point blank, no thing about it. Ain't nobody saying nothing about Trump, though. Trump say take some disinfectant and shoot it in your arm. Take the light. We can put the blue light. I did a show on this the other day. He said all that, yo. He called the vaccine Operation Warp Speed. He know daggone well people like, he said, we don't gotta worry about the pandemic, but it ain't coming here. He said all that. Then he called the China. He did all that. And that man ain't up against charges, yo, for saying stuff that could kill people. People actually went and got them non-regulated drugs, bro. What are we talking about here? So if you sitting in that chat, hiding in the bushes, if you think it, and when you go to sleep tonight, when you think about me, understand I'm saying you stupid. Should at least add Trump in it. Then I might give you a break.
As much as I'm fighting for you not to, here go the extra stupid part. And he took the vaccine.
Yep, your hero.
Exactly.
Your
like
hero.
These people, man.
Yep, your hero.
I'm gonna try to protect him. I can't protect him for so much.
I mean, yo, bro.
And he took the vaccine.
Sometimes you gotta leave them to to their own conscience. Sometimes you got to talk shit about them and just know when they home getting ready to go to sleep, they
Dirty
thinking
breeze.
about it. Damn, am I
Dirty
dumb?
breeze.
And what's even worse is
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta leave shit for people to deal with when they in the mirror.
what's
Yeah,
even worse is
It
these
ain't
people.
always gonna be. It ain't always gonna be a direct confrontation.
I was,
Sometimes you gotta leave. Sometimes you gotta leave a motherfucker with something that's gonna have them up at 3 a.m. thinking.
yeah. Like when y'all go outside to drive tomorrow morning, don't forget that's more dangerous than the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not hit the
What's
back
also
of the
crazy is that
I mean,
these
but like
these
even beyond Trump, like right, even beyond Trump,
You
it's
cuss my
like,
off until you cuss my off. Cuss my off.
oh my bad.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
I was going to say, but also Trump also claimed that he produced the vaccine, correct? He's the
Yeah.
one that came up with it, and
Operation
there,
Warp
in
Speed.
essence,
That's it.
by that admit, he didn't even have to write that in his diary. He said it on television, and yet there are no
Backlash.
hearings, correct? And yet they are backing the guy who gave them the vaccine that they didn't want to take. That
Grant
he told them.
talking.
Yeah, Grant talking.
Oh, my
Can you hear
bad.
me?
All right.
Can you hear me? We can't even hear you.
Yeah, so it's just there isn't really any way to provide evidence for these individuals. I don't think that they are particularly interested in information or facts. I think they like to be in their wet blanket of conspiracies, and they're able to sleep at night, although a nightmarish sleep. But I think they enjoy it, and I think it comforts them. But unfortunately, they most certainly are not. They're not thinking people. I'm sorry. It's hard to be nice to them.
Here you
But
go.
yeah, well, what happens is
Hold
I
on.
just,
Here you go. I'm
oh
just
my
showing
bad.
you Operation Warp Speed so y'all can see it for yourself. Here you go. Donald Trump, yo. He the command. Look at his picture. He the commander in chief, yo.
But here
He
it
the
is.
47th president, yo. I'm just saying, yo. Like, man, you gotta get him first, right?
Well, yeah. It's all, yeah. What I'm saying to Grant is, I want to be clear about what I'm saying. I don't like even wasting a lot of time with the. So what I'm not necessarily saying is to not call the people who are that you just described stupid. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But you're always at risk of just highlighting, here's some information, here's an understanding, and then you just kind of in the moment generalize that people are stupid for not getting it. That's where the risk is. So I'm not even talking about the people that just want to be conspiracy theorists and that just don't want to listen. I'm not saying to call them stupid either, but I'm just saying, I'm actually saying you're actually turning people off who are not in that group.
No, I don't want them to get it. I don't want them to get it at this point. I'm not advocating nobody don't get it. Don't get it. It ain't went nowhere. It ain't went nowhere. I'm on that. Like it went somewhere. It ain't went nowhere.
In my time, I'm not even disagreeing. I'm not even. What I'm saying is, I wasn't even disagreeing with you in particular.
You got me
I'm
on
actually more likely
to.
I'm more likely to align with you in your approach.
You got your fan on Montoya. It's crazy. It's crazy. Go ahead.
But yeah, I wasn't disagreeing with you. I was just more pointing out that there is a very thin line. In essence, we're all trying to sort of navigate both using the right amount of language, right amount of sort of sternness in our voice to turn back the charlatans, correct?
Yeah.
Because in essence, we can't let them keep storming the beach and going, well, you can't say that you can't discern which ones are bad actors in this. Because I think we can. I think we can tell who are just pure charlatans versus the people who are seeking answers and yet don't have the sort of rubric to understand what's going on. And those are distinctions that I think is often hard to do that in this community, especially when you're trying to get a point across in a 5-second or 10 seconds, speech. So I wasn't disagreeing with you per se. I was just sort of providing what I thought was some additional color to it.
All right, yeah, but we at the end of it, man. We'll play the rest of this tomorrow, man. Continue it, man. You got a loud connection, Montoya. It's off.
Oh, I got the.
You got the what?
I was going to turn it out, but let me say the last. I just want to say, not that only did Trump get it, but I just want to say, just for context, like if anybody that thinks it's dangerous, we gave it to all the presidents throughout this time. Like, like literally, why would we give something dangerous to our president? Like who? Like that's just kind of.
You know, we give it to the military, we give it to the presidents. Like that's your end all be all. We got the best military in the world, but yet we made it we make the vaccines mandatory for our
Yeah, kill
military.
them first. Let's kill off our army. Let's do all that. You got me out. Yeah, that don't make no sense. Kill our army, kill the leadership with the vaccine, and last but not least, make sure you kill them black people. It's the most ridiculous, wild, cockamamie story ever produced in the history of mankind. Just trying to figure out why y'all think we're in the position we're in now. It's because we got some medical drugs, some antiviral drugs now. Okay, it's treatable, right? We understand a lot about it now. And so, like I said early on in the game, I said there's a certain amount of deaths that we are comfortable with when it comes to the flu. Thousands of people die every year because of that flu. Did y'all not scared of? And the same thing occurs with COVID. People are still dying from coronavirus. It ain't went nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to let y'all know, right? So, never trying to hid. I ain't going. I appreciate the people that do support. Appreciate you. But the idiots is just that. They idiots, and they're actually bringing pain and suffering to our community. It's the misinformation. You brought it in with the trash, right? Instead of throwing it out, you fight against white people. You chose ignorant white people. This is the thing that get me the most. This is what I don't understand, Montoya. How is it that the people that are so afraid of white people, why pick the ignorant white people? Why pick the unqualified white people? Why pick the nuts? You at a certain point, yo, I gotta say you lost your mind. I
Yeah.
gotta say that, Montoya. I don't know what to say.
I
I don't know.
respect that. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my last thought. I like to leave people with deep thoughts or whatever. But one deep thought is, um, you know, they know genetically, like Native Americans, based on DNA science, have been some of the healthiest groups to ever exist. But at the end of the day, we might not be here right now. Had they had vaccines, Europeans probably would have never taken over the state, the United
No, that's
States.
what wipe them out. If they had the small
80,
packs,
yeah, 80%.
they'd
Yeah,
be right.
80%. Yeah, 80%. It took them. It took them. I think I heard. I think I saw recently, and I'm gonna say it low because I want to say it wrong. But it took them almost 100 years or more. I think even longer than that to get herd immunity from smallpox. Because most
Yeah.
of them got wiped
Yep.
out prior to them
Yeah,
ever
don't
getting
listen
it.
to them. That's what Brain said. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, it's stupid. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying, Brain? Natural immunity. So what happened to the Native American? Why they didn't get natural immunity? What happened? They have wiped out
Exactly. By the
population.
time you get it, you exterminate it. They healthy now, but it's only
It's called Columbia.
1% of them
It's
that
called
lived.
bro.
That's that natural selection.
Yeah, come
That's
on.
that natural selection. Their genome was not built to deal with the white man's diseases, and it damn near exterminated them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the people that's standing now, yeah. But
And
you see what happened when that corona came, another old world disease that they wasn't ready for. See,
and I
people don't realize corona is old world, SARS is old world
Start off
from the
with
Middle East. So
Pakistan.
now when that pathogen is introduced into the United States, the Native Americans are the highest people suffering because they don't have the natural immunity.
Yeah, hold on,
So
hold on,
that's
hold on,
true.
hold
Now,
on.
when that natural immunity doesn't work, what's your next line of defense?
and
You better get a
Wait,
vaccine or
wait,
you going out like the Native Americans.
hold
let
on,
me
hold on,
go.
hold on. Wait, everybody stop. We gotta stop right there. So yeah, it's something different. You saying that the coronavirus did start out in Pakistan on one of those trade routes or something like that, and it was very dangerous to people, but it ended up being like the common cold, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you got to mute out, right? So there was in the old world, right? But this new one, that's why it's called novel coronavirus. It was simply talking about the crown. That's why they call it coronaviruses, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the crown. So, man, ignorance is bliss. And I know that we are afraid at times. All of us was afraid, right? We was in a situation that was new for us. People listening to this show right now, we have experienced a lot of things we thought we never experienced in our lifetime. Like them overrunning the Capitol. That was wild. Right? What up? The amount of black people getting choked out and pulled out the car and choked and died. You see him die with your knee on the back of his neck. The Freddie Gray situation. We seen a lot of stuff.
I want to go back to the science of this.
Here's my point.
Okay, my bad.
There's a lot of things that we have experienced that we never thought we experienced. A pandemic comes every 100 years or so. Didn't expect to have this. What else was wild that occurred? Having a wild president like this. Never expected leadership like this before. Having a person in charge of your health that's an anti-vax. He in charge of the vaccine programs. Go ahead if I get mad. Go ahead.
Yeah. And let's get this clear. It ain't that the pandemics of this nature come every 100 years. What happened is because of vaccines, we were able to get this type of run. But yeah, it used to get them way quicker than 100 years prior to vaccines becoming what they became. But another area of context, just talking about history, because the Native Americans are wiped out in South America and North America due to, lack of immunity. And in part, here's another thing when you start understanding, because what we know when it comes to vaccines per se, the process of inoculation was founded in parts of Africa and China. They don't know necessarily which one was first, but around the same time. So because we had inoculation, unfortunately, it's also part of the reason why we could possibly be enslaved, because otherwise we would have died off being next to the white man too.
No, because we had old world immunity. We found the old world.
We already had figured it out. Yeah, we had already.
No, we had old world.
We already had the immunity for it.
We already figured out inoculation prior to them coming.
Nah. No, that wasn't it. We had old world.
The diseases that got the New World folks, we already had an immunity to.
Yeah, because
but I'm saying, but we did also find an inoculation priar to them coming.
Yeah, we definitely did.
So that actually gave us more immunity because we already had figured out inoculation.
No. You're mixing that up. I disagree.
So the inoculation was found before they came to Africa, though.
Yeah, that's not the. That's
so
not.
When did inoculation start?
It doesn't matter. The point is,
we was already used to it. We didn't need to be inoculated for diseases that we was already exposed to.
Yeah, we was already exposed. The old world is Europe. Hold on, the old world is Europe, Africa, and Asia. That's the old world. The immunity, they shared pathogens, right? They all shared pathogens, so their immune system was fit for it. America, the Native Americans had broken away. Right? Through evolution, they walked to the America. So they separated about 25,000 years, where they had no incursion of these viruses into their genome was fit for diseases in the New World. So when the old world met the New World, right, the immune systems were different, and they brought these diseases that wiped them out. That's different from in Africa and having some things against smallpox. Smallpox wasn't just in Africa; it was in China, it was in India. Right, because they also had systems of violation. So it's the old world. So that's what they say: the old world immunity versus new world immunity. Sean, do you want to say something? Because I know you got back in it. You want to end it?
No, I mean, you basically just said it. And the fact that we came over here with not only a system in place, but we were already exposed to things, so it wouldn't be much of a trigger to us. Plus, they couldn't get past yellow fever shit when they came to West Africa.
And it's 8.3.
Another thing is they tried to enslave Indians; they couldn't live
because of
the diseases,
right.
And that's why they brought us over here.
Exactly.
And run to their backyard though. They already home. How you gonna enslave somebody in their house? You don't even know their house.
Yeah. They couldn't deal with the foreigners. We already had the immunity. We had not only did we have old world immunity, we had a couple hundred years of dealing with Europeans. So between you add all of that together,
right? It was 8.3 billion people. We just passed 8 billion. Just so you know.
I think it's 9. I think
I'm telling you, I just looked it up. Yeah, we're not supposed to get to 9 until about 20 more years.
I think you messed that up.
Well, you know I don't be messing up no numbers, man. That's what I do. Numbers, data is what I do.
Montoya went back for that one.
Yeah,
He remembered
data is
that one
what I
from
do.
3 hours ago.
Yeah, I'm a, I'm a data hog.
All right, now next time I know I'm on the panel with you, I gotta have my I gotta be on point.
Well, I'm saying I see how you sharp. That's why I said I want to give you some game because I want to give you your numbers. I know the numbers, man. That's why, yeah, man, you own it.
Yeah, I gotta be on point with you,
Yeah,
bro.
you are, yeah. I see. I've seen you on here before, so you've always. But you know, but to hear what you was spitting out, I was like, man, he own it.
You know how to
That's
talk.
what's up.
He really he's a hooligan.
That's even doper. Hey, that's even doper.
Oh boy.
You know, the ladies
I'm
love
funny, man.
a smart hood guy.
I'm reformed, man. I'm too old to be like,
man.
You know, the ladies love an intelligent hooligan.
Oh man, that was a good one. Hey, look, man, we at the end of the show, man. Appreciate all the support, man. Appreciate the cash.
Put my link in the chat before you go.
All right, I got you. Hold on.
Yeah, bro. I definitely see what's up with your channel, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
Hold on.
Definitely. I support.
Y'all is not talking to me trying to holler out the people that support the show, man. All right. DeVille, man, appreciate you, man. That's some love right there, man. All right. Appreciate that. All right. We got Ghost. Man, he always support the show, man. We appreciate you, man. Hold on. What else we got? We got Dead Black, man. That's Real, man, and Ghost, man. So appreciate that support, man. That's what we need, man, to keep the show going. Man, y'all listen to Community Skeptics. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. Mental Dialogue. Let me see if I can find it. Put the link in there, man. Remember him, you know, cause he ain't gonna get nobody. Ain't gonna let him run ruckshog on him. Check out that interview he did with with what's his name? Dr. Boyce. They was on there going back and forth praying. He wanted to cuss him out. Trust me, yo. He really did. Let me see. Man,
I put the link in the private chat. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, all right. Let me get that. I can get that. Yeah, I can get right there. Hold on. Yeah, he was on there with Boyce Watson trying to pseudo-rise him half to death.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I got it. All right, cool. I'm gonna definitely check you out, bro.
Boyce was trying to
straw man. He was trying to straw man me to death.
Half to death. Was he?
Yeah, I got mixed opinions on Boyce, man. He's
a pseudo.
Yeah, plus he got a MAGA streak with him too.
Oh man.
Yeah, he got a conservative. He got a real conservative streak with him.
Wow, God, bro.
Yeah,
he preying on the ignorant, bro. Always.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, highly recommend. I've seen a couple of your shows, so I would definitely say that it's good stuff. It really is good. I watched the last one you guys did on the black voters, so I highly recommend you guys. Everyone,
thank you very much, bro. Good looking.
Cool. I'm gonna definitely check you out, man.
Don't let them get off of politics, or they might throw a little sway. Like, what was his name? I don't know his name.
Which one you talking about? One of my guests or something?
Yeah, yo, we was at the live event, yo. He was in the low. I was like, oh man, yo, you got your whole foot over the line right there, yo. But I mean, you know, everybody.
I think you talking about my boy Emil.
You said his name. I ain't said.
Yeah. He be now when it comes to the politics. Now he know that stuff. He don't be on the pseudo on that because he know. He know politics way better than I do.
But you gotta know, Ankh is like thoroughly entrenched in the anti-pseudo. If you speak one pseudo thought, he liable to disown you. Like, no, that nigga pseudo.
I had to train him. I was like, I used to say, you just can't say pseudo to regular people. I'm like you be saying it like people use that word. I'm like, regular people don't use that word.
And they
Just
just
say,
use them
I say,
as
just tell them what they saying ain't it. Don't call them a pseudo.
I want you to look it up. You heard what she said. You heard that lady said on there. You heard what Dr. Whatchamacallit said. She
Yeah, well, I said people say it in the science world, but
Yep.
don't be at my event saying
Oh
pseudo.
man, yeah, she
They gotta
did.
look it up. They gotta look it up. Look that up. Look that up.
Yeah.
I was like, you calling them pseudo? They don't even know what you're talking about. Just tell them what they did, say it wrong.
All right, man. So look, man. Hey,
All right, I'll let y'all.
enough. My favorite
Good
show.
show. Good show.
Good show.
All
man.
right, good brothers. I'm gonna make my exit. Y'all close it out.
We out,
I'm
man.
gonna make sure I link up with Montoya channel. Peace out.
Peace out, man.
They knew those niggas couldn't read when they couldn't understand. Would have, as did, alongside him purely. Misreading paragraphs and sentence structures.
Them niggas can't read, they bluffing. Talking super wild, ain't nothing. You playing, I'm guffing. Acting aggressive, bluffing. While you playing, I was hustling. I've been retired cattle rustler. Mills off the muscle.
Them niggas can't read, they bluffing. Talking super wild, ain't nothing. You playing, I'm guffing. Acting aggressive, bluffing. While you playing, I was hustling. I've been retired cattle rustler. Bills off the muscle.
Them niggas can't read, they bluffing. Reading comprehension causes tension. I'm top notch, you benching. Them niggas can't read, kill conversation. I'm sitting back embracing constant winds, y'all bitches glazing. Ignorance profound at the forefront conversation.
Them niggas can't read, they bluffing. Talking super wild, ain't nothing. You playing, I'm guffing. Acting aggressive, building nothing.
You vote Trump, hating, top debater, knowledge generator, Mount Olympus. We built this, them niggas can't read, gifted. Now I'm pissed, you did this. Shoot and you miss, can't hit this. Your 5th grade reading did this. Book reading, kill this. Now read this, what's up with the fakest?
Them niggas can't read, they bluffing. Talking super wild, ain't nothing. You playing, I'm guffing. Acting aggressive, bluffing.
Them niggas can't read, but what's the reason they chose greed over reason over intelligence? I've been relevant, believe me. Wyans can't read, feel penitentiary, but I stay free, stay slick on the John Wick shit, and I'm loud on the mic with that stem grip. Pseudo killing to the day I die. Them know why. Most get high, but I stay fly. Never less than the guy. Rather stay sober than high. Keep the rocket from pockets. Check the document, been rocking it. Filled all requirements, wild environment. Still pull blicks, showing that science shit. Them nigga can't read, die and breathe. They smoke, spray weed. They smoking trees, bend knees. If you would it be.
Them niggas can't read. It be what it be.
They die to go to hell.
Now free. It be what it be, never mattered to me. Always could read, your niggas can't read. Yet they breed, kids that can't read. Fill the prisons, just up, cut, running around, doing stick-ups. I'm too quick, pull blicks, them hits, staying on that science shit. Them niggas can't read.
Live in America, landing the free.
I keep it on me.
I pull blick, slick, protection shit.
Stay on that science shit.
Them niggas get what they get.
Them niggas can't read. It be what it be. Stay on that science shit. Them niggas can't read.
Them niggas get what they get.
It be what it be. Stay on that science shit. Them niggas can't read. It be what it be. Stay on that science shit.
Man, I'm your host, Bobby Banger, and with that, we out.